helmet and balaclavas on, ready to go for Game 2 of this series against the Red Sox. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer, and Tom Young is our technical director. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Dieppe and Amherst, New Brunswick. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center. Visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Two Southpaw starters tonight, although very different backgrounds. Once a young phenom taken right from the draft to the major leagues, Garrett Crochet, now with his new team, the Boston Red Sox. On the Blue Jays side, Easton Lucas took a long time to become a major league starter, making his first start in the big leagues just a couple days ago. He makes his second one after a win against the Nationals here today at Fenway Park. We'll have lineups, first pitch, standings, and more coming up after the break. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max Shower Units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Embrace the power.
Start your engine!
And speed of the
What's up, baseball fans? Thank you so much for coming back and hanging out here at Toronto Sports Insider for every single game of the Blue Jays season, this 2025 season. You're home for all things Toronto sports right here on TSI. It's finally here, opening day for our Toronto Blue Jays. After an offseason filled with roster moves, expectations are sky high. Be an electric atmosphere at the Dome, and we'll be breaking it down right here on Toronto Sports Insider. Be sure to like, subscribe, and jump in the chat and talk some Blue Jays baseball. Let's go Blue Jays! We'll see you in the chat.
Jr. has reportedly signed his $500 million deal with the Blue Jays. Of course, they are still waiting until the team returns to Toronto on Monday for it to be official, but we continue to digest this monumental news. And, now Vladdy is here until he is 39, 40 years old, which means there is a really good chance he ends up as the leader in pretty much all of the franchise's statistical categories. And there's still some time before that happens. So let's hear from the current leader in many offensive categories, Carlos Delgado, joining Blair and Barker earlier today to catch up.
Carlos, I wanted to ask you, now that Vladdy has his deal, and, your deal was, I think it was $468 million. When a player gets,
I wish I had 14. I wish I had 14 years, Jeff.
Well, Carlos, I'll tell you what. If you can come back with your numbers, you'll get 14 years.
Yeah, and then some.
And then some.
And then some. You can get cleanup for the Blue Jays today.
I guarantee you would get 14 years easily. Carlos, what is?
They got plenty of good players. My days are long gone. I'm just teasing.
What is? Explain to me. When a player signs a deal, that long-term deal and that first long-term deal, and isn't going year to year, even though you may have been making money going year to year. What does that kind of do for you in terms of your mental outlook, maturity, ability to concentrate in the game? Does it make that much of a difference?
Well, I guess the good thing is, technically, you don't have to worry about money for the rest of your life. Neither does your kids or your grandkids. So that's a good thing. I think the most important thing for a player to stay focused is just the passion, the pride, that it doesn't matter how much money I'm going to make or how much money I got on the bank. Is, can I perform to the best of my ability? How can I keep challenging myself to be prepared, to perform to the best of my ability day in and day out? You know what? Because at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the bank, but you go out there and you know that you're not at your best, you feel embarrassed. And you don't want to feel embarrassed at a ball field. And I'm pretty sure Vladdy will have enough pride and passion to go out there and put on a good show day in and day out. And it's hard to think 14 years down the road, especially in sports where your body gets beat up over the years. You want to take it kind of year by year, game by game, at bat to at bat. So I think it will be easier to break it down that way. And then we'll see what happens. Obviously, he's got enough talent, enough potential. So the Blue Jays knew that. That's why they gave him $500 million. So, but it's just a matter of going out there and enjoying yourself and compete. Compete for yourself, not for anybody else. You're trying to be the best version of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. that you can be.
Do your teammates look at you a little differently? I mean, I guess it would depend on the clubhouse, but do your teammates all of a sudden look at you a little differently because of that?
Only if you don't pick up the tab for dinner.
That makes sense.
Could you feel expectations go up, Carlos, from your teammates now that you have money? Second and third, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth inning, you're making all the money. You walk to the plate. Could you feel that from your other teammates?
Not necessarily. I guess everybody in that clubhouse will understand that you earned that money. I mean, obviously you're gonna have a lot of other responsibilities. I think more important than not striking out with runner on second and third, because you know what, it's gonna happen, and people will accept that. You do have other responsibilities that you have to live up to. Facing the media at tough times, being that vocal voice in the clubhouse. When times gets a little tough, people will kind of gravitate to you to kind of lead the way. So there's a lot more to be a major league ball player than just to play 162 games. You have to carry yourself professionally, and it's a maturity process. It's when you were 22 or when you're 25, you don't have the same frame of mind that when you're 30, 31. So that will come with experience, but I think those are going to be big expectations for Vladdy. Players understand that because you're making more money than whomever, you're not going to be perfect. You're going to strike out. You're going to make 7 outs out of 10 at-bats, and you're still going to be great. So I think the last thing that you want to do as a player is go out there and say, I have to do more because I'm getting paid more. Because you know what? They are paying you for what they know what you can do. So just go out and do it consistently.
So your goals never changed. Like, I was a big goal-oriented person. I think Vladdy's the same way. Like, 330 and 100 was sort of the goal every single year. After you get paid, does it change? Like, oh, no, now I'm making all this money. Now it's more or less, instead of 30, it's 35 or 40. Instead of 100, it's 115, 130. Did your goals change after you started getting paid?
I don't think you should. I think this is, very personal. Everybody will approach their game and career the way they want it. I think that's the worst thing that you can do. Put extra pressure on yourself, trying to control something that you cannot control.
That is the great Carlos Delgado, my personal favorite player, joining B&B earlier today. You can grab the whole chat, because that was just a snippet of it, on the B&B podcast feed, which is found, of course, wherever you find your favorite podcast. First pitch is a few minutes away, so let's check out the Bet365 standings update. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19+, play responsibly. Ontario only. The Yankees, they lose again to the Tigers. It was a 5-0 defeat. So the Yankees, after that game, are 6-5 now. After last night's game, both the Blue Jays and Red Sox are also 6-5. So 3 teams at 6-5 right now in the AL East. The Orioles, meanwhile, they are 5-6, and the Rays are 4-5. Before we get you over to Ben and Chris, who are standing by for the call of today's game, let's get to the starting lineups. Batting leadoff for the Blue Jays is Bo Bichette. He is at shortstop. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is at first base, batting second. Batting third, Anthony Santander is DHing today. George Springer is in right field, batting cleanup. It's a day off for Andres Jimenez, at least right now, it looks like. Ernie Clement is batting fifth at third base. Davis Schneider is batting sixth at second base. Miles Straw is in center field, batting seventh. Batting eighth is Tyler Heineman. He is catching, and Alan Roden is in left field, batting ninth. Easton Lucas is on the mound for his second start of the season. And here's Red Sox manager Alex Cora's starting lineup. Jaron Duran is in left field, batting leadoff. Batting second is Rafael Devers. He is DHing. Batting third, Alex Bregman at third base. Rob Refsnyder is batting cleanup. He is in right field. Trevor Story's at shortstop for the Sox today. He is batting fifth. Batting sixth, Christian Campbell, who also got a pretty big extension pretty recently. He's at second base. Romy Gonzalez is at first base, batting seventh. Batting eighth, Carlos Narvaez. He is catching. And after the catcher's interference moment in yesterday's ball game, quick information, Connor Wong placed on the 10-day IL with a left fifth finger fracture. And batting ninth, Cedar Rafaela, he is in center field. Pitching for the Red Sox today, Garrett Crochet. He is starting the lefty at Fenway Park. All right, we're getting close to first pitch at Fenway, so let's get you over to the call of the game. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The Red Sox about to take the field as Garrett Crochet walks back from his pregame warm-ups. It'll be the first start for the left-handed starter and big trade acquisition in the offseason from the White Sox. First start at Fenway Park for Garrett Crochet. Really exciting for the Red Sox fans and probably all of baseball to see the 25-year-old get going. He's got a chance, Chris, to be one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, he's really fun to watch. Obviously left-handed, and he has a plus fastball, mid to upper 90s, sits 97 miles an hour. He really has a good cutter. So if you're right-handed, he loves to come inside with that cutter. It's a really tough matchup. The Blue Jays have 7 right-handed hitters and a switch hitter. So you can expect a lot of cutters, a lot of elevated four-seam fastballs at 97, 98 miles an hour. Garrett Crochet is one of the best.
25 years old, from Mississippi, 6'6", 245 pounds, and the Red Sox dealt for him to get him from the White Sox this offseason, sending over 4 different prospects, many of whom are big prospects now in the White Sox system. It took a haul, but they've got him there. They've extended him, which we'll get into the details of that coming up in a little bit. And the Red Sox are hoping and expecting him to be one of the aces in the American League over the next half decade. Like you said, the Blue Jays have a bunch of right-handed hitters going up against him. They yanked almost every left-handed hitter out of their lineup today, including Andres Jimenez, who had played in every single game before today. And we'll see if Toronto can replicate its run production yesterday. 6 runs for the Blue Jays, easily could have been 7 in a 6-2 game. 13 hits for Toronto. Again, though, they did not hit for much power at all. Of the 13 hits, it was 12 singles and 1 double.
Yeah, the Blue Jays are going to have to start to slug, especially against a guy like Garrett Crochet. You can't string together 4 or 5 hits, 4 or 5 singles against Garrett Crochet. His stuff is just too good. So you have to take a walk and you have to hit a double in the gap to score that run. That's just how you're going to have to score runs. And Bo Bichette, who's leading off this ball game, is really starting to power that baseball into the gaps, using the whole field and really seeing the ball well.
Be Bichette, Guerrero, and Santander in the first inning. And the first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. We mentioned the fastball and the cutter already for the hard-throwing lefty Crochet. It's a 4-seam cutter, sinker, changeup, and sweeper mix. More often than not, he's going to throw you something hard. If you count the cutter as a fastball, you're going to get fastballs most of the time, but you don't really know which direction they're going to go, which with the velocity really crosses up a lot of the hitters.
And how about that changeup he throws? He only throws it 6% of the time, but it's 91 miles an hour. Like you said, everything is hard. Outside of the sweeper is a little bit slower at 84, but you have to be geared up, and that's why he's so good at slipping that cutter in there, because it looks like a fastball and then just darts inside to right. He's a really tough pitch.
Crochet wrapping up his warm-ups. Red Sox in their white jerseys and white pants today with red lettering on the jerseys. The Blue Jays once again in the royal blues with gray pants. Bo Bichette walks up to the plate, taps the catcher Carlos Narvaez on the back to say hello, and steps into the box. He looks at a Crochet, a lefty on the third base side of the rubber. Into the wind, first pitch. High at 94, ball 1. Time of the first pitch today, 6:47 Eastern. Another cold day in Boston. The 1-0. Swing and a foul back, 1-1. Temperature at first pitch, 2 degrees and feeling like -7 degrees. It's much sunnier and brighter than it was for yesterday's game, but not warmer. 1-1 pitch is smoked out to left field and deep. Headed to the monster. It's off the top of the wall. Bichette around first, and he'll have to stop there with a long leadoff single. Just missed his first home run of the year.
Well, that was the cutter right there on the inside part of the plate, and Bo Bichette just hammered that thing off the green monster. I think Bo Bichette thought he got that baseball. Took a little bit of a jumped out of that batter's box and realized it was going to hit off the green monster, and he only ends up with a single.
First pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. called strike 0-1. Yeah, it wasn't like he jogged it up the first baseline. He just didn't get his fastest first step. So it's unclear whether that would have made a difference. But so close to being the 6th home run of the year for the Blue Jays. Now the next pitch to Guerrero, 97 for a called strike 0-2.
It is -7 with the wind chill, and Garrett Crochet is still throwing 97 miles an hour.
And that was pitch 5 of the game. Left-hander from the stretch, glove just under his chin. He kicks and deals. Inside, ball 1.
I was about to say you have to forgive Garrett Crochet for not throwing 97, 98 miles an hour because of the cold weather. He's still throwing 97.
Big 6'6" left-hander. Looking at Bichette now, deals home. And Guerrero breaks his bat on a soft roller to second base. Picked up by Christian Campbell in the throw-in time. It was a close play because that one was rolling softly, but Campbell made it just in time. 1 out, Bichette to second.
Well, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., as he often does, passing through first base on a close play, threw both of his arms out, letting the umpire know that he thought he was safe. We're about to see a slow-motion replay. I'm pretty sure he was out here. Blue Jays aren't challenging.
Yeah, he was out on the second look, but it was pretty close. Runner on second, 1 down now. And Anthony Santander faces the first pitch and hits it in the air foul back behind the plate, 0-1.
And that's why you can never trust Vlad's opinion, because he does that even on every close play. He'll throw his arms out like he thinks he's safe.
He has an optimistic outlook on the Blue Jays' ability to get calls overturned. Santander, the switch hitter, batting right. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
That's a good pitch to swing at right there. 97, a four-seamer right down the middle. He was right on it, though.
Crochet nods and comes set at the belt, bringing the glove up to his chest. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the cutter, 2 down.
And that cutter, he calls it a cutter, but it moves like a slider, has a lot of depth to it. And right there, that's a good one. Looked like a strike at the bottom of the strike zone and just darted down underneath the bat.
Making the strikeout call from behind the plate is home plate umpire Ron Kolpa. Corey Blazer at first, Manny Gonzalez at second, Alex Tosi at third base. 2 outs, George Springer in the cleanup spot. Crochet's pitch. Up and in, ball 1. On the season, Garrett Crochet 1-0 with a 1.38 ERA, 12 strikeouts to 3 walks in 13 innings. It's coming off his longest start as a pro. 1-0. High, 2 balls, no strikes. He went 8 innings scoreless against the Baltimore Orioles on April 2nd in Baltimore, shutting down one of the more powerful offenses in baseball. His 2-0. Swing and a miss at a cutter, 2-1.
And that tells you just how comfortable he feels throwing that cutter. A fastball count, behind in the count, and he's able to just flip one in there like he did there to George Springer.
The 2-1. Down and in with the fastball at 97, ball 3. Bichette on second, no score, 2 outs, top of the first. And the 3-1. High, ball 4. Springer takes a walk, 2 aboard for the Blue Jays with 2 outs.
Really good at bat from George Springer. Took a couple of tough fastballs down and in, and that one was above the strike zone. Springer really seeing the baseball well right now.
Part of the reason why he's in the cleanup spot today. He's now at first. Bichette's at second. 2 down, no score. And Ernie Clement hits for the first time in the top of the first inning.
The other part is because he's right-handed.
It helps. The pitch. Called strike, 0-1. You have Andres Jimenez out today and Alejandro Kirk not in the lineup today, with Tyler Heineman catching Easton Lucas. A 1 count against Clement. And the left on right pitch. High, ball 1.
You can tell Crochet doesn't quite have the command of that fastball just yet. Might be the weather. Might be something else, but all over the map right now.
Is 1-1. Swing and a miss. Clement chased the heater up top, 1-2. And that was part of why I mentioned the 8 innings last time. That was his longest outing in any game since he was at the University of Tennessee. He was limited in his innings last year, and that was his first year as a starter last season with the White Sox. 1-2. Swing and a line drive, left field, base hit. Picked up quickly by Duran. Bichette's going to stop at third. Springer way off second. The throw behind him, and he's safe, diving back in. George Springer assumed Bo Bichette was going to the plate and went halfway to third, but turned it back in time to beat the throwback from the catcher Narvaez. Red Sox on the phone right now. They're thinking about it, but as it stands, it's bases loaded, 2 outs.
Well, usually with 2 outs, you'll send that runner coming from second base, rounding third base. But there was really no chance they were going to score that run. If Carlos Fablis sends Bo Bichette there, he's out by a mile.
First pitch to Davis Schneider, way up high, ball 1. Yeah, that ball was hit hard enough and right at Jarren Duran. And with it being drier today, the ball got to him much quicker. So the base is loaded for the Blue Jays. Crochet back into the wind is 1-0. High, ball 2.
And it's the third base coach's job to see that, to see how tough that would be to score, to see who's coming up next. There's a lot of factors when thinking about sending a guy. But like I said, normally 2 outs in a situation, a base hit to the outfield, you're sending him probably 95% of the time.
Quick meeting between Narvaez and Crochet. Eric Crochet's command has been spotty in this first inning. He walked George Springer with 2 outs, and now he's fallen behind Davis Schneider 2-0 with the bases loaded. The pitch. Way high, ball 3. Some frustration from Crochet, who's got nowhere to put Schneider. Although you imagine Davis Schneider not going to be swinging away here at 3-0.
Yeah, Crochet tried to find the release point by flipping in a breaking ball there, but couldn't do it.
His 3-0 is down the middle, strike 1. Schneider 0 for 10 to start the year. What a time it would be to get your first hit of the season. Bases loaded, 2 down, the 3-1. Swing and a miss, 3-2. Borderline pitch, maybe ball 4 up high, but instead of full count.
I was about to say, I was almost sure that Davis Schneider was taken all the way there, too. Swings at ball 4, like you said.
The 3-2. Called strike 3, and that one, a brutal one. Looked up, looked inside, should have been ball 4 and a run, but instead, Schneider strikes out looking, and that'll do it for the inning. No runs for the Blue Jays, 2 hits, 3 left after the questionable strikeout call. Middle of the first inning, 0-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A game-tying blast from Bo Bichette
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Easton Lucas on the hill, making his second career Major League start, 0-0. Blue Jays and Red Sox. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight, and welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Left-on-left matchup. He deals to Jarren Duran, and the first pitch is hit foul. Lucas gets ahead, 0-1.
That changeup is going to be a big pitch for Easton Lucas today. 7 right-handed hitters in this Boston Red Sox lineup.
He gets Duran and Devers, the 2 lefties that are in every day no matter what to start, and then 7 straight righties. 0-1. Inside. Just inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jarren Duran, really the lone bright spot for the Red Sox yesterday in a tough offensive day. 2 doubles and a walk. 1-1 pitch is hit right back foul on a breaking ball. Slider it was. It's 1-2.
Yeah, we talked about him yesterday at length. He's just such an exciting player. And he's always willing to take the extra base. If you're an outfielder today, you have to be worried about that.
John Schneider had mentioned pregame that they specifically focus on Duran and his base running in preparation. 1-2 pitch, check swing on a slider down and away. Appeal to third, no swing, says Alex Tosi, 2-2. Lucas set. He works from the first base side of the rubber. His 2-2. Inside, ball 3.
I like that pitch right there. You can see Tyler Heineman set up in off the plate outside. I always say you have to show in at some point to good hitters like Jarren Duran.
Heineman sets up inside again. Payoff pitch. Swing and a foul off. For Easton Lucas, the mix is 4-seamer, changeup, cutter, and slider. See the wind blowing the jersey of Lucas right now. It's a cold day in Boston. Long sleeves under the jersey for Lucas. Another 3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Tied him up with a backup slider, and that's why you see the scream or hear the scream of frustration from Duran. He wanted to hammer that pitch over the wall. Instead, he's walking back to the dugout.
A perfectly placed hanging slider, a backup slider. Jarren Duran obviously expecting that pitch to break more than it did, expecting that pitch to break back over the middle of the plate, and it just never did. Almost acted like an elevated changeup inside.
So 1 down. The pitch to Rafael Devers is a front door slider for strike one. So much movement that Devers backed out of the box thinking it would hit him, and it landed in the zone.
That's the pitch that Jarren Duran was expecting right there.
Now the 0-1. Fastball at the knees, strike two. What a pitch from Lucas. By the way, mentioned the wind on his jersey. Wind is going from left to right, so a nice night for a lefty power hitter like Rafael Devers, who can pull it to right field. The 0-2. High with a fastball. Heineman liked the spot. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I like that spot, too. You elevate the fastball, change the eye level, and then you can pretty much do whatever you want.
He's gone in, down, and up so far in 3 pitches to Devers. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. You've gone in, down, and up, so go out for your 4th pitch. Back-to-back punchies for Easton Lucas. 2 down.
Rafael Devers really didn't know what to expect there. Like you said, in, down, up. Might as well throw that good slider down and away off the plate. A perfectly placed slider for Easton Lucas.
So he breezes through the 2 lefties at the top of the order. Now a right-handed hitter, Alex Bregman, the pitch. Swing and a pop-up back of second in between Schneider, the second baseman, and Springer, the right fielder. Springer sprints in last second to make the catch and end the inning. 2 strikeouts and a 1 pitch out of Alex Bregman. A nice bottom of the first for Easton Lucas. No score. We head to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hear the Masters exclusively on SiriusXM. Hi, this is Mike Tirico, and there's nothing like the Masters.
Rory McIlroy, he's thinking grand slam.
The beauty of the azaleas, the passion of the patrons, and the best golfers in the world vying for a green jacket.
For birdie, 16, it's on the way and in. Scotty Scheffler can put one arm in the jacket now.
It all makes for one of the most iconic weekends in sports. Join me for live coverage of the Masters starting Thursday at 2 Eastern on Masters Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Yohei Ohtani Connect.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Get ready for the 2025 NFL Draft on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
With the first pick, the Tennessee Titans select.
We caught up with the top prospects as they get ready to start their careers in the NFL.
Miami Hurricane quarterback Cam Ward.
My journey's been unbelievable.
And hear pick-by-pick coverage of the 2025 Draft from Green Bay starting April 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. No score, top of the second. First pitch to Miles Straw, missed up and arm side from the lefty Garrett Crochet. Now is 1-0. Fouled off the catcher Narvaez and into the jet blue side behind home plate, 1-1. 7-8-9 for Toronto. Straw, Heineman, and Rodin against Garrett Crochet, who had to throw 25 pitches in the first inning and got into a lot of trouble. Gave up nearly a home run to Bichette. 2 base hits and a walk total in the inning. The 1-1. Called strike 1 and 2.
That's a good fastball right there. Inner third. Like you mentioned, Garrett Crochet really didn't have much command of that fastball in the first inning. Looks much better right here.
The 1-2 in the dirt. I mean, frankly, he got bailed out from what should have been a bases-loaded walk to end the inning. A close pitch, but a pitch that was not a strike that got Davis Schneider rung up. 2-2. Up and in, ball 3.
I mean, that was the pitch that Davis Schneider struck out on right there, and it was called a ball to Miles Straw. Got to be frustrating. And if you're Davis Schneider, you go back to the dugout, you look at the iPad.
3-2 to Straw. Swing and a hard grounder to short. Picked up on a bounce by Story. Throw on the run to first. In time, 1 out.
I think Miles Straw was actually letting Corey Blazer know that Rami Gonzalez didn't have his foot on the bag. I mean, I'm sure he was just begging there, but
Gonzalez is not the regular first baseman. That's Tristan Casas most of the time. Gonzalez in there because he's a right-handed hitter. We didn't get another look at it, but maybe something I'll try to find at the break. Pitch to Tyler Heineman is chopped to shortstop again. Backhanded Story. Another throw on the run. 2 down. Foot definitely on the bag that time. I was looking.
Yeah, I think Miles Straw was just acting like Vlad. Doing anything he can to be called safe at first base.
So this is looking a lot more like Garrett Crochet. 2 quick outs for the guy that yielded 4 prospects in a trade in December from the Red Sox to the White Sox. The prospects went. He, of course, went from the White Sox over to the Red Sox. Pitch to Alan Roden. Up and in, ball 1. White Sox got Kyle Teal. Catcher is now their number 2 prospect. Braden Montgomery, the number 5 prospect. Chase Mydroth, the number 8 prospect. 1-0 pitch low, 2-0. And Wikelman Gonzalez, their number 18 prospect. So this was not just get some quantity from the White Sox standpoint. They took some significant pieces back in order to give up on a guy like Crochet. 2-0. Bald strike, 2-1.
Well, it seemed to me, and I could be wrong here, but it seemed to me like Garrett Crochet didn't want to be in Chicago.
It's tough to tell the chicken and egg situation there. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. 2 outs, bases empty, no score, top of the second. Because the White Sox are so obviously trading away guys. And so his name had been out there, and then there was the Crochet's agency reportedly saying that he wasn't going to pitch a lot of innings for them. 2-2 pitch is hit high. Deep right field. Going back, Ref Snyder, and just in front of the track, he'll make the catch to end the inning. Good contact from Roden, but a 1-2-3 top of the second for Crochet. 0-0, middle of 2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything to catch.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball hit to center field. Varsho with a dive, and he makes the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second inning at Fenway Park. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Left-hander Easton Lucas back out for a second inning of work. He'll start off with Rob Ref Snyder. First pitch. Backdoor breaking ball, strike 1.
I tell you what, Easton Lucas looks really comfortable out there. I know it's a small sample size. He's only thrown 1 inning in this ball game, but he looks like a major league starter.
The 0-1. Fastball popped up by Ref Snyder. Back into the seats, foul, 0-2. It might be the difference in when you bring up a guy, big prospect, younger guy, as opposed to Easton Lucas, 28 years old, had some time in the majors as a reliever before becoming a starter now. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and he's looking good. 3 strikeouts for Lucas, who's starting to nail that strut off the mound. 1 down.
And how pumped up is he, just fist pumping after a strikeout in the bottom of the 2nd inning. You can tell just how much this start means to him at Fenway Park.
He had a big clap of the glove after his first inning was over. He's fired up right now, getting an opportunity to start in the big leagues. His pitch to Trevor Story. Shortstop hits it foul, 0-1. Story, a right-handed hitter. And really, unless I clarify, assume right-handed hitter tonight, because there are almost only right-handed hitters in this Boston lineup. 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lucas, a part of 3 different organizations last year. Hasn't really gotten an opportunity to start at all in pro ball since he was in college. 1-1. Ball strike through the changeup, upper middle of the zone, and froze Story 1-2.
Yeah, I think that changeup actually cut. It was a pretty good pitch.
Story asks for time. The bearded shortstop looking at his 2-tone bat. Black handle, light barrel. Now he steps back in. Lucas shakes off a sign, now has one. Set at the belt. The 1-2 is hit foul off to the right.
Easton Lucas started 13 games in the minor leagues. And I know we talked about that a little bit in his first start, but watching him tonight, he doesn't strike me as a guy that's making his 15th career start.
1-2. Fouled right back. And I don't have it in front of me. You might. I think 9 of those were in the New York Penn League.
So 2019, he started 9 games. And then last year, he started 4 games. And I don't know if those were just openers or actual true starts.
There were somewhere in between with Buffalo. He wouldn't go 7, but he'd start. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Buried the slider, tag applied by Heineman on the back of Story, and there are 2 down.
Well, he was really locating the fastball well to the top of the strike zone to Trevor Story and just snuck that slider in below the strike zone. A really nice pitch.
It's probably part credit to him, part credit to Tyler Heineman, but he seems to have a really good feel for the sequencing with his pitches, what he wants to use in each spot. His pitch to Christian Campbell is hit back foul by the super prospect. It's 0-1.
How about Christian Campbell? My goodness.
Made the team out of spring training after a really rough start to his spring. He turned it around. Gets an extension right as his major league career starts. 0-1. In the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike.
8 years, $60 million. And with a $2 million signing bonus. How about that?
22 years old. Started the spring 0 for 11 with 8 strikeouts, but did enough in the second half to get himself a spot on the team.
Here's $60 million.
1-1. Low 2-1. And he's, in a very short amount of time, paid them back so far. Campbell has started his major league career 12 for 33, a .364 average, with 4 doubles, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 8 walks so far. Native of Chattanooga, Tennessee, looks at a 2-1 and takes it. It's called a strike. That was a gift to Easton Lucas, definitely below the zone. It's 2-2.
Yeah, that's not a strike. That's about a ball, maybe a ball and a half below that strike zone, really low. Christian Campbell shaking his head.
It's a big change in the count. 2-2 instead of 3-1. See if Lucas can take advantage. He comes set, kicks and deals. Outside, ball 3.
But if you look back to 2024, so just last season, Christian Campbell, 3 stops in the minor leagues, but he hit .330 with 20 homers, 77 RBIs. and 24 stolen bases. So you can see why the Red Sox love him so much.
3-2 to Campbell. Hit foul to the right as he stumbles over the plate. He went from high A Greenville all the way up to AAA at the end of the year. And it wasn't like his production really dropped off. Sometimes a guy has a big year, but okay, in 70 games at AA, he was great. And the 30 games at AAA didn't weigh him down too much. That wasn't the case with Campbell, who hits the 3-2 very high to left center field. Medium depth, Miles Straw under it, makes a two-handed squeeze and ends the inning. Campbell looking good, but Easton Lucas looking really good so far. 6 up, 6 down. We go to the third. No score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sportsnet Plus is the streaming home of the Blue Jays.
Oh, what a catch!
Stream over 150 Blue Jays games all season long.
You won't see this anywhere else.
Including pre- and post-game coverage with Jamie and Joe on Blue Jays Central.
One of the best in the game right here.
Watch all the Blue Jays action wherever you are, at home or on the go.
Don't you love baseball?
Plans start from $24.99 a month.
We are good to go.
Subscribe at sportsnetplus.ca.
Mary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bichette powers the ball to left field. Going back, Peralta. It's out of here.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Dieppe and Amherst, New Brunswick. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Second time up for Bo Bichette. He takes inside from Garrett Crochet for ball one. 0-0, Blue Jays and Red Sox, top of the third. 1-0. Inside again, 2-0.
In the first inning, Bo Bichette hammered a baseball off that green monster in left field. For a second, I thought he got his first home run of the season.
2-0. High ball 3. Well, he's knocking on the door. If you think back to his first at-bat yesterday, the ball he hit to the right center gap that was somehow caught by Cedon Rafaela, that ball was a home run in 3 different ballparks and a 5% catch probability, but Rafaela got it. 3-0 is high and outside, ball 4. Big misses on all 4 pitches from Crochet for the leadoff walk.
Yeah, that third ball to Bo Bichette actually hit the backstop. That one there, really nowhere close, but you said a 5% catch probability. That was one of the best catches I've seen this season for sure.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
If not the best.
That one, a home run in 3 ballparks, although Bichette's one this game in the first inning actually wouldn't have been a home run in any yard. First pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. called strike 0-1. But it was real close to being one at Fenway Park. Vlad 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. The left on right pitch. Low. You could look at it glass half full or glass half empty. The Blue Jays 6-5 without a home run from any of their top 3 in the order. 1-1 pitch, check swing, and it hits off Guerrero's bat foul, 1-2. You know, on one hand, you think, okay, well, they probably can't win sustainably without those guys hitting homers. On the other hand, if they're going to hit homers, they fared pretty well in the time being. Runner takes off on the 1-2, and Guerrero hits it foul. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
And that's something I wouldn't mind seeing more of. Bo Bichette taking chances, trying to steal second base. Obviously got a good jump against Garrett Crochet, who has a really high leg lift.
Once that heel comes up for Crochet on the right foot, he can't go over to first base at that point. Crochet peeks at Bichette, and the pitch. Swing and a fly ball down the left field line. That's going to go way foul, but it was hit pretty deep into the top deck, right under the neon Coca-Cola sign.
He was all over that slider from Garrett Crochet. I mean, that's really all you can do with that pitch. That was way inside, but barreled that thing up and hit it way out of here, foul.
The 1-2 again. Fouled off again. These two haven't seen each other much. Guerrero 0 for 3 in his career against Crochet coming into today. So now 0 for 4.
Put some good swings on these pitches here, though.
Runner on first, no outs. The 1-2. Outside, snap throw back to first, dive back in by Bichette. Narvaez trying to catch Bo a little too far off the base.
I was pretty old school. Stay on your knees and throw to the bag.
It was a good throw.
Yeah, really nice throw.
Red Sox leaning on Narvaez with the news that Connor Wong is going to the 10-day injured list. Wong fractured his pinky on catcher's interference yesterday. Another 2-strike pitch hit foul by Guerrero. He got on that 2-2 slider and sent it over the netting to the right.
And we talked about this yesterday when George Springer got Connor Wong on the backswing, but you really don't see bats on catcher's interference hit the actual hand of the catcher. Normally it's just that webbing, so a rare thing for Connor Wong. Tough break for the Red Sox.
2-2 again. And hit foul again. This is turning into quite the at-bat from Guerrero. He's seen 9 pitches. He has fouled off 6 of the last 7. The only one he didn't foul off was a ball.
Garrett Crochet's now at 50 pitches. We're in the 3rd inning with nobody out.
The best way to beat Garrett Crochet is to not have him in the game because he's a tough guy to hit against. 2-2 once more. And that one hit off the handle. A bouncer to second. Weird spin. A sliding stop by Campbell, and he throws from his knees over to first. Bichette advances to second, 1 out. But a funky play for Christian Campbell, who overran that spinning baseball, was running toward first, dove back in the direction of second, and still had the presence to make the throw.
Well, I almost think that he was thinking about getting that ball to second base before he got it and tried to. No, he actually just slipped. That's a tough play on a spinning ball from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Really the second at bat he's done that.
First pitch to Anthony Santander, called a strike, 0-1. No score, top of the 3rd. Bo Bichette in scoring position with 1 out. Crochet from the stretch, the pitch. Hit high in the air, shallow right center field. Rob Refsnyder angling over there, and the former Blue Jay makes the catch. 2 down. With 2 outs, if the Blue Jays want to score a run, it's going to have to come with a base hit off the bat of George Springer, it appears, and they could count on that yesterday. 3 different times in the 6-2 win last night, Springer had RBI base hits. Walk in the first for George. Here's the pitch. Called strike. 15 for 33 on the season. If they ended the year today, he'd win the batting title in the American League, .455 average. The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Springer's 8 for 14 this season with runners in scoring position. That is really impressive.
The 1-1. High, 2-1.
Just taking tough pitches. I know that pitch was high and above the strike zone, but still a tough pitch to take.
And the plate discipline has been there for Springer over the last couple of years, but guys would throw in the zone a lot more when he wasn't doing the damage he's doing now. 2-1 pitch, big swing and a miss on a middle-in fastball, 2-2.
Well, everybody in the ballpark knows what he was trying to do with that pitch there. Four-seamer on the black inside. Took a massive hack and came up empty.
Bichette on second, 2 outs, no score, top of the third. The 2-2. In the dirt, almost hit the back foot of Springer, ball 3. You can hear it from Garrett Crochet. He is battling, whether it's his mechanics or his feel of the baseball, something today to just try and get command of his pitches.
Yeah, he's grinding through this start for sure. Throwing a lot of balls in this game. 58 pitches now.
3-2. Ball, strike 3, really good. Backdoor cutter, freezes Springer, and a strikeout ends the inning. No runs for the Blue Jays, no hits. They leave Bichette on second after his walk, and no score, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Food City 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best.
Hey, baseball fans, Blue Jays fans from all over the world. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, whatever time it may be, all over the world where you're watching. Thank you for hanging out with us. Please take the time to help us get more fans here in the chat. And how do you do that? You hit the like button, exit out of the chat, smash that like button, and then click to share and send it out to all your friends that are Blue Jays fans on social media. We'll get more and more Blue Jays fans coming into the chat, and then YouTube will send us out even more because they see everybody coming in from those shared links. We'll see you back in the chat. Go, Jays, go. Come on, Vladdy and Bo and the rest of the Jays. It's time to get winning.
The Red Sox knotted at 0 at Fenway Park. Easton Lucas steals home, and the first pitch is hit in the air down the right field line. Foul. Out of play, 0-1. 7-8-9 for the Red Sox this inning. Gonzalez, Narvaez, Rafaela, all right-handed hitters. The 0-1. Swing and a deep drive left field. Rodin backing up near the monster, makes the catch with a little bit of a jump before the wall. There's one down.
Well, we saw him struggle with that early fly ball yesterday against the wall, but that one right there, I see a tippy toe against that green monster for the easy out.
He was running to the real dangerous section of the monster where the hand-operated scoreboard is. There's lights, there's places where it juts in and juts out a little bit, and you can really hurt yourself on those parts of the wall specifically, but thankfully for him, he didn't have to touch the wall. One down, and Carlos Narvaez up. First pitch is lined past third, foul, 0-1.
And like we talked about yesterday, it's not padded. The green monster is not padded, so you really have to be careful out there.
Wally the Green Monster soft. The Green Monster actual wall not soft.
Thanks for clarifying.
Just in case. Narvaez steps back in. He's had a nice start to his year. 0-1. Swing and a ground ball to short. On the forehand side, picked up by Bichette, and he'll throw running forward to get Narvaez 2 down. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. When home improvement projects are throwing you a curveball, talk to the folks at Timbermart before you begin your next job. They've got the material and know-how to make sure you have all your bases covered. Timbermart, Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host and producer. Tom Young, our technical director. Center fielder Cedon Rafaela bats in an open stance right side. 2 outs the pitch. High ball 1. Slow out of the gates for the sophomore Rafaela. Batting 188, 6 for 32. 1-0. Low, 2-0. We had already mentioned it earlier, but what a play he made yesterday. And as much as he isn't hitting right now, he still provides a lot of value. 2-0 pitches, swatted to left field, a base hit. Picked up on a couple bounces by Rodin. Rafaela around first. He'll stop there with a single, the first base runner for the Red Sox today.
Well, Easton Lucas fell behind to Cedon Rafaela, and he had to come back with a four-seam fastball there, and Rafaela was waiting for it. Hammers that thing into left field for the single.
That'll bring up Jarren Duran. Struck out his first time up today. Lucas looking at first, deals home, and misses low, ball 1. Duran 12 for 50 to begin the year. 3 doubles, a triple, 7 RBIs.
You have to be careful with Rafaela at first base. He had 19 stolen bases last year for the Red Sox.
1-0. Inside 2-0. Might be hurting his pitches to the plate, but Lucas twice has kicked up the knee while staring at first, limiting the ability of Rafaela to take off.
Also limiting the ability for Lucas to throw strikes.
That's the dangerous thing. Does it again, 2-0. Inside, ball 3.
And that's what Rafaela does to you. He makes you think about him over at first base or second base or wherever he is. And then a lot of the times the pitcher's not able to locate that pitch. Lucas falling behind 3-0.
He kicks and deals and misses low, a 4-pitch walk. After 8 straight retired, fell behind 2-0, gave up the single, and then couldn't throw a strike to Jarren Duran.
It's almost easier to have a guy like Cedon Rafaela standing at second base with 2 outs as opposed to standing at first with 2 outs, because you don't really have to worry about him. The chances of him trying to steal third are a little slimmer, so you can just focus on Rafael Devers. Obviously, you don't want Rafael Devers standing in the box, but you don't have to worry about the runner now.
Struck out Devers on a slider in the first. Lucas from the stretch looks at second and deals home. Swing and a miss on that same slider, 0-1.
And how about that? It seems like he's not worried about the base runner anymore.
It's Duran on first, Rafaela on second. 0-0, bottom of the 3rd inning. The 0-1. Slider hit back foul, 0-2.
And now you have to expand with Rafael Devers. Up in the count, 0-2. Maybe a fastball above the strike zone, but nothing in that strike zone that he can do damage on. Although he does love the low pitch.
I was going to say, you do, like you said, fastball up, probably the best call, because you do want to stay away from low pitches, even out of the zone with Devers. 0-2. Fastball hit on the ground at third. Clement has it. He'll go to his bag, step on it, and end the inning. No runs on a hit for the Red Sox. 2 left, no score after 3. We go to the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front Office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Go, hey, Ohtani Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
It's the fourth inning, presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Ernie Clement hits the first pitch of the inning on the ground is short. Trevor Story throws on to first. 1 out.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. Catch the new menu starting April 8th. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome.
And I believe if our previous Out-of-Town updates were right, that the new menu dropped today for St. Louis Bar and Grill as the first pitch misses well outside to Davis Schneider, 1-0. No score. Bases are empty. 1 out, top of the fourth. The wind and the 1-0. Called strike, 1-1.
You want to take a look in Washington where the Dodgers are down to the Washington Nationals 5-0 in the top of the fourth. Who would have thought that?
How about the Nats? 1-1. Inside 2-1. After the Blue Jays swept the Nationals, they beat the Diamondbacks in a series, and they got a chance here to beat the Dodgers in a series as well.
Yeah, Brad Lord is absolutely dealing for the Nationals.
2-1 is called a strike. 2-2. Your favorite seasonal Home Depot. Brad Lord.
3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 walks, 4 Ks against that tough lineup.
He got the start today?
Yep.
2-2. Hit back foul. So he was in the bullpen when, not that long ago, the Nationals were in Toronto. Over to the ice on the St. Louis Bar and Grill Out-of-Town Scoreboard. Huge back-to-back for the Leafs, going up against the Panthers and Lightning the next 2 days. 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Schneider goes down, 2 outs. Maple Leafs trailing the Panthers 1-0 with 2.5 minutes to go in the first. Gustav Forsling scored at the midway point of the first period to get the Panthers on top.
How are the Habs doing?
They are losing 1-0 to the Detroit Red Wings. I was hoping you'd ask. First pitch to Miles Straw, up top. Ball 1, 2 outs and the base is empty, no score, top of the fourth. Dylan Larkin with his 29th of the year on an assist from Patrick Kane. 1-0 pitch called a strike, 1-1. That one, 5 minutes left to go in the first. Crochet kicks, steals. Called strike, 1-2. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Tough to score on either of these starters so far. They both look good. Blue Jays had that opportunity in the first inning, but other than that, not much. 1-2 pitch in the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Garrett Crochet has really cleaned it up. 70 pitches now, and we're in the top of the fourth inning with 2 outs, but he's really locating that fastball just a little bit better than he did earlier on.
Bearded lefty, staring at the plate, steps to the right, kicks, delivers. And Straw hits it away foul. Miles Straw 0 for 1 with a ground out to short. Another 2-2 on the way. High and outside, ball 3. You could hear the grunt near yell from Garrett Crochet as he released that pitch.
Yeah, Crochet wanted that pitch. He actually took 1 step back to the Red Sox dugout, but it was above the strike zone.
3-2. Called strike 3. Planted the fastball on the inside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts, 5 on the day for Garrett Crochet. A 1-2-3, top of the 4th. Still searching for our first run of this game. We'll see you in a sec in the bottom of the 4th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This is Toronto Blue Jays Baseball.
Fastball cracked to center field, to the wall, to the track. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer, Tom Young, our technical director. Easton Lucas on the hill. 3 scoreless innings so far for the lefty. His pitch to Alex Bregman. Low ball 1. Bregman entered today the leader in hits in the American League so far with 16, one more than George Springer. The 1-0. High and outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
And obviously that's not what you want to do with the American League leader in hits. Can't fall behind him 2-0.
The pitch. All 3.
And Alex Bregman's a smart hitter. He knows that Easton Lucas can't and doesn't want to walk him in this situation. He has the green light. He's ready for something right down the middle.
3-0. Called strike. Upper middle part of the zone to get back in the count. Lucas deals. Called strike at the knees. 3-2.
How about that? Back in the count. You want to flip in a slide or a changeup here? Let's do it. Let's flip in a changeup.
If you want it, I want it. (3-2). Hit high, left field. Rodin near the corner, has some space in front of the warning track. He'll make the catch. 1 out. Let's go back to the out-of-town scoreboard, which is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night, wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome. Maybe some half-price wings in our future if this game gets wrapped up pretty quickly. It is Tuesday night.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'll only be there during that special. Tuesday nights, I will be there.
Every Tuesday. The pitch to Rob Refsnyder. Swing and a ground ball to shortstop. Picked up by Bo Bichette. He slings it over to first. 2 down.
How about Easton Lucas? 50 pitches now in the ball game. Bottom of the 4th inning with 2 outs. Rolling through this Red Sox lineup.
Really quick action and quick outs from Lucas. Just to go to the out-of-town scoreboard before Lucas potentially quickly wraps this up. We already checked on the Maple Leafs and the Canadiens, so the Ottawa Senators playing important games right now. They're down 2-0 to the Columbus Blue Jackets, trying to clinch a spot in the playoffs. Pitch to Trevor Story, called strike, 0-1. If Ottawa wins, I believe, or Detroit loses, the Senators are guaranteed to be in the playoffs, but down 2-0 after a period to Columbus. 2 outs to the 0-1. Story swings and misses at a changeup way out of the zone. 0-2.
That's the pitch right there. That's the one I wanted him to throw to Alex Bregman. Tailing away from that righty.
4 strikeouts today for Easton Lucas. His most recent one against the current batter, Trevor Story. The 0-2. Low with another change, ball 1.
So when do we find out officially who your Toronto Maple Leafs play?
There's a lot to be decided because the Senators could also jump ahead of the Florida Panthers, knocking the Panthers into the wild card spots. The 1-2. Swing and a rope left field, hooking, and that's foul. just landed in the seats where the wall starts to get diagonal up toward the monster. It snuck over right into a fan's lap.
That's a dangerous place to sit, but a lot of smiles in the stands right now, so it looks like nobody got hit.
Different historic ballpark, but kind of in the Steve Bartman spot of the yard, if you want to picture it. One ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs and the bases empty, scoreless game. The 1-2. Swing and a line drive. This one's going to stay fair and get down in left center. Cut off by Roden in the gap. It limits Story to a 2-out single.
Actually, not a terrible pitch from Easton Lucas. It was a changeup. I actually liked the pitch selection. Maybe the changeup was up just a little bit, but Trevor Story doing a good job going down and hitting that ball into left center for the single. How about Alan Roden getting over there and just throwing that ball into second base perfectly, feeling comfortable here at Fenway.
Yeah, that could have been a double, depending on who the left fielder was out there. Story does have some speed, but he's still on first base with 2 outs and Christian Campbell up. The pitch. Balled strike.
I think if Jarren Duran hits that exact same ball, he's trying to get to second base.
He might be trying to get to third.
Come on.
No, but I think you're right. I think Duran does. Probably Rafaela, too. 0-1. Balled strike. Outside edge with the changeup, and then he goes inside edge with the fastball.
And now let's elevate that heater.
Story leading off first, held on by Guerrero. Lucas nods and looks to Story. And I believe Heineman asked for time there. So they'll go through the signs again. Lucas set, staring at the base runner. And the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Tied him up with the fastball. 5th K for Lucas in 4 scoreless innings. We go to the 5th, where still there are no runs in this game between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Eat a peach and celebrate the Allman Brothers legacy with the triumphant Madison Square Garden return of the Brothers live April 15th. They've taken over SiriusXM Southern Rock with stories and songs, other artists they love, and an intimate performance from the New York City studio. The Brothers host SiriusXM Southern Rock, now on Channel 79 for a limited time and always on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's it. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
After the game, join us on MLB Network Radio. We're talking baseball with you all season long on SiriusXM Channel 89 and the SiriusXM app.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays Baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. 0-0. Blue Jays and Red Sox. First pitch to Tyler Heineman is lined into center field, and that's a base hit. Heineman continues his torrid offensive start to the season with his first knock of the day and the first hit for the Blue Jays off Crochet since the first inning.
Well, that was actually a tough pitch. 94 off the plate. Maybe clipped the black just a little bit, but Tyler Heineman was able to get the bat out. Might have hit it off the end of the bat, but good start for the Blue Jays in this inning. I'd love to somehow get him into scoring position here with less than 2 outs.
Roden squares to bunt, pulls it back. It's down and away, ball 1.
I like the way John Schneider's thinking right now.
When you have the duel going on between Crochet and Lucas that we have tonight, 1 run could mean a lot. Third baseman Bregman is in. This time Roden swinging away, swings and misses, 1-1.
I actually don't mind that when you get the pitcher thinking that you're going to bunt, so the pitcher is just grooving a fastball in there. You take the bat back and you swing away. Not a bad play there.
Squaring to bunt again is Roden, and he gets it down to third. Bregman picks it up, throw to second in time to cut down Heineman. Bregman was playing in. He's a Gold Glover, and so that'll go as a fielder's choice rather than a sacrifice bunt. And Roden's on first now with 1 out.
Well, if you're sacrifice bunting with somebody on first base, you're supposed to sacrifice to the first base side. So the first baseman picks it up and doesn't have an easy play throwing to second base. If you bunt that baseball to the third base side, the third baseman has a really easy play, as Alex Bregman just showed.
Bo Bichette swings at the first pitch he sees, hits it foul, 0-1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Maybe they can get a guy over to second, stealing a base. Roden does have some speed. 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
There's a big hole on the right side, too, so I'm sure Bo is looking to go to the right side of that infield. Christian Campbell is shaded towards second base. Romy Gonzalez is holding on Alan Roden at first base.
1 for 1 with a walk. The 0-2. Swing and a fly ball, right field line, slicing foul out of play.
You can actually see him trying to go the other way. I mean, he's not blind. He sees that hole over there.
What are you looking at when you see him swing that tells you he's trying to go the other way?
You could just see him pulling the hands through, and the barrel is actually facing to right field. He's so good at that.
0-2 is upstairs, ball 1. Over 80 pitches already for Garrett Crochet with 1 out in the top of the 5th and a runner on first. Lefty's 82nd is smoked foul on the ground.
And on the flip side of that, if I'm Garrett Crochet, if I'm pitching and I see Bo Bichette really trying to go the other way, I'm not throwing a pitch to the outside part of the plate. I'm going to bust him in and obviously hope that he either swings and misses or gets jammed and hits a ground ball.
1-2 once more. Down and in, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And I think Garrett Crochet is actually trying to bust him in.
Just yanked that one, though, near the back ankle. Five strikeouts for Crochet, 5 strikeouts for Easton Lucas today as well. 2-2. Swing and a fly ball to center. Bichette slams down the bat as this one drifts to right center. Rob Refsnyder makes the catch, the right fielder. 2 down.
Yeah, that was just a little spinning cutter over the middle of the plate. I'm sure Bo Bichette 9 times out of 10 hits that harder than he just hit that one. I'm sure that's why he slammed that bat on the ground.
So 2 outs. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. stepping up in this scoreless game. They've been working him inside all day. He's hit 2 balls on the ground to second base. First pitch called strike. He did see 10 pitches in his second at-bat before going down on that ground out to go to 0 for 2. Crochet kicks and deals. Swing and a rocket to right field. Diving catch by Refsnyder to end the inning. He stopped and then leapt forward to take the hit away from Guerrero and make it a scoreless top of the 5th. Leadoff hit for Heineman, but they leave Roden on first after the fielder's choice. And it's 0-0, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
As a sports fan, I just want the games. Right now, it's practically a full-time job to figure out which bundle I need. But with the SiriusXM app, it's done the bundling for me.
It is gone, a grand slam!
I don't have to go anywhere else to get every MLB, NFL, NBA, and NHL game. When there's a college game on, I just search for the school on the SiriusXM app.
Holy smokes, what a play!
With the all-access plan in the SiriusXM app, I've got the sports world in the palm of my hand.
To the end zone, touchdown!
No bundle required.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
I'm John Paul Morosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Hear our conversations with Hall of Famers about the challenges they overcame on the journey to baseball immortality.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
I used to go to bed crying. They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Easton Lucas sets and gets ready to deal to Romy Gonzalez. First pitch, swing and a miss. Strike one as we're underway in the bottom of the fifth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's been a pitcher's duel, to say the least. 0-0. Last of the fifth inning. 0-1 to Gonzalez. Bald strike, 0-2.
Well, we expected this from Garrett Crochet, but I mean, I kind of expected it from Easton Lucas, but not this good.
I was going to say, this is a little bit more. 0-2 in the dirt. Lucas didn't allow a base runner until there were 2 outs in the bottom of the third. He's allowed only 1 runner to get into scoring position so far. He's given up 2 singles and a walk on the day. Facing the bottom third of the Boston order. The lefty reaches back and releases. Check swing on a breaking ball low and in. No swing, says Corey Blazer. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was close. I want to see a side view of that one. Here we go. Not that close.
Looked worse.
Good job by Gonzalez, yeah.
2-2. High and outside, ball 3. Romy Gonzalez, an 18th rounder by the White Sox in 2018 out of Miami. DFA'd in January 2024 and claimed 5 days later by the Red Sox. Helpful piece for them hitting lefties off the bench. 3-2 pitch is lined foul.
How about that? A 3-2 changeup.
He's feeling it now. Started to use the changeup a lot more second time through the order. 3-2. Fastball hit off the handle, foul to the right.
Pitch number 64. That fastball was 94 miles an hour. I'm telling you, Easton Lucas has a sneaky good arm. A lot of life through the zone.
He's sat 93 in this game, but he's reached a maximum of 95. Lefty sets just above the belt. Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 94 right down Broadway, and he got him.
Well, when you're able to flip in that 3-2 changeup, like he did earlier on in the at-bat, Romy Gonzalez has to respect that. So when you throw that 4-seamer 94 right down the middle, sometimes it blows that hitter away because he has something else in the back of his mind. He absolutely blew that fastball by him. What are you looking for there, Romy Gonzalez?
Frustration from Gonzalez. He grabbed opposite ends of the bat like he was going to snap it and then said, I'll keep it. First pitch to Carlos Narvaez, 93 at the knees, 0-1. Narvaez grounded out to shortstop in the third. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Narvaez, a former Yankee. Let's go to the St. Louis Barn Grill out of town scoreboard, by the way. Quick check. As the Yankees played during the day today at Detroit and lost a second straight game to the Tigers. 5-0 was the final score. Eric Skubal with 6 shutout innings. 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 7 punch outs for Lucas.
He is absolutely rolling right now. I said before the game, he looks like a starter. He's got the stuff of a starter. He's got the fastball, the mechanics, all that stuff. The biggest thing for him is just throwing strikes and getting ahead, and he is doing exactly that today.
He looked great against Washington. You think this a different caliber of offense, though, and he has not missed a beat. His pitch to Cedar Rafaela, and he gets ahead 0-1.
How many people do you think are going to say, but it was, it was cold outside?
It was cold?
Yeah.
They had their righties
all the haters are going to say it was cold outside.
That's all right. The 0-1. Called strike 0-2. It would be somewhat unfair to Easton Lucas to say he's gone pitch for pitch with Garrett Crochet. He's probably been slightly better than Garrett Crochet. Obviously 0-0, so the end result has been the same, but fewer base runners and more strikeouts.
I wouldn't say slightly better. I would say better.
0-2. In the dirt, ball 1.
A lot for the majority of this game, Garrett Crochet has kind of battled, and he's grinded through some innings. Knock on wood, Easton Lucas really hasn't grinded at all today.
It's just the third inning when he had the single and the walk with 2 outs. That was it. Rafaela had that single. The 1-2. Swing and a pop-up. Back of first. Second baseman Schneider going out to right. Springer charging in to make a one-handed catch. And end the inning. 1-2-3 for Lucas. 2 more strikeouts. 5 scoreless innings. We go to the 6th. 0-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For a participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
He's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Law & Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law & Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law & Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law & Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 99 right down the middle? Beats Manzardo.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 6th inning. Blue Jays 0, Red Sox 0. On a cold night in Boston, we'll see if the bats can heat up. Blue Jays have the middle of their order, 3, 4, 5. Santander, Springer, and Clement up this inning. Santander takes outside from Garrett Crochet. Ball 1. Crochet approaching 100 pitches, just threw his 87th to start the top of the 6th. Lefties shaking off a couple signs, and now the 1-0. Swing and a foul off to the right. 1-1.
A good swing from Santander on a fastball. Down in the zone, maybe outer third, but you could tell he was trying to go the other way with it, not trying to pull that ball.
Next pitch is chopped to short. High hop, fielded by Story. Lob to first off line. And a tag applied by Romy Gonzalez. Santander tried to dance around it, but they will get a circus-like 6-3 out. It's a little lackadaisical, perhaps, or maybe that slipped out of the hand of Trevor Story. Either way, Santander set down the pitch to George Springer, high and outside, ball one.
I'm actually surprised that Santander didn't say anything to an umpire or look over to John Schneider. It looked like Romy Gonzalez missed him with the tag.
Yeah, he made no motion that he felt that way, though. 1-0. Called strike 1-1.
Maybe just clipped him on the chest, and we didn't see that in the replay. Athletic move, though.
Very much so. The 1-1 to Springer. Swing and a high fly ball. Left center field. Going back, Rafaela. That ball is gone. Solo home run for George Springer, and he breaks the deadlock. 1-0 Blue Jays.
And how about that? He takes that hanging cutter from Garrett Crochet, and he hammered it to center field. What a swing. He's taken a lot of good swings this season, but that one right there might be his best.
Picked one of the deepest parts of the yard to hit it out right where the monster ends and a more regular wall begins. There's a yellow line that if you hit on the left side, it's not a homer. On the right side, it is a homer. And luckily for him, it was on the right side. So it's Springer's second of the year as Ernie Clement takes strike one. Now 1-0 Blue Jays. One out, top of the sixth. The pitch. And Clement hits it in the air. Shallow center field. Rafaela sprinting in. Dives and makes the catch. Another great play in center from Cedon Rafaela, and another hit taken away from Toronto.
It is so difficult to dive straight in and catch that baseball. A lot easier to go left or to go right, but Cedon Rafaela with an incredible catch off the bat of Ernie Clement.
Might have been an infielder's ball, honestly. He ran so far in and just got it in the edge of his glove. Well, it's been an exciting inning. 2 outs. The pitch to Davis Schneider, called strike.
And also keep in mind, it doesn't feel good against that ground. It's a cold night. The ground is hard, and he went slamming against that grass in center field. What a play.
1-0 Blue Jays after the Springer solo homer. 2 outs, top of the sixth. 0-1 to Schneider is hit on the ground left side. Backhanded at third by Bregman. Throw skips over to first off the glove of Gonzalez. It'll bounce away, but not far enough for Schneider to go anywhere. He's safe at first.
And how about that gift? There's 2 outs in this inning. Alex Bregman with a sour look on his face. That's a play that he's made a million times. Just an errant throw.
You think Rafi Devers is in the dugout saying, I could make that play?
He could make that play. That wasn't a difficult play for a first baseman. It's a short hop. You need to make that play if you're a big league first baseman.
Oh, you're talking on the pick side rather than the throw.
Oh, no, yeah, the third base, yeah. Both sides of that play need to be made.
So it's an error on Bregman, the Gold Glover at third last year. Schneider on first, still doesn't have his first hit of the year, but he is aboard for Miles Straw. Crochet sets at his 97th pitch of the day. Outside, ball one. Four-seam fastball he just threw at 91 miles an hour.
It's -7 with the wind chill.
He hasn't been a starter very long. He's coming off an 8-inning outing.
About to throw his 98th pitch of the night.
Here it is, and it's barely low, ball two.
And if I'm Miles Straw, I'm zoning up, waiting for my pitch, a four-seam fastball, middle.
Action in the Blue Jay bullpen as the Red Sox are still on defense. 2-0. Low ball 3. In a sweatshirt showing the elements. Yariel Rodriguez is warming up right now for Toronto.
It's either that or a parka. Take your pick.
No fur coats in the bullpen. 3-0 count, 2 outs. 100th pitch for Crochet is called low, ball 4. Probably a strike, but Straw will take the walk. Schneider up to second. And this could be it for Garrett Crochet. A slow walk out from Narvaez. And it's just going to be a pitching coach visit. So remaining in the game for now will be the starter. Crochet's Andrew Bailey talks to him rather than Alex Cora.
Well, that's a big walk because you take that runner at first base, 2 outs, and you move him up to second base with 2 outs. All it takes is a broken bat, and the Blue Jays are ahead 2-0 in this ball game.
As the mound visit continues, we'll go quickly to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. So Major League Baseball scores 5-1 St. Louis over Pittsburgh in the 6th. In Pittsburgh, Nationals lead the Dodgers 8-1 in the U.S. Capitol, bottom of the 5th. Angels up 2-0 on the Rays in Tampa Bay. And for those following the hockey scores, the Maple Leafs have tied it up against the Florida Panthers. Early in the second period, John Tavares scored his 37th of the year. So despite Florida out-shooting Toronto 20-8, it's a 1-1 game. Pitch to Tyler Heineman, and he went around on a breaking ball inside, 0-1.
How about Paul Skeens tonight? He's down 5-1 to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Cardinals had lost a bunch in a row, and maybe just a bit of a breakout night for them, even against a guy like Skeens.
They're tired of it.
0-1. Swing and a ground ball right side. Sliding stop. Campbell spins, throws to first, wide of the bag. Coming in to score, Schneider. Up to third is Straw. And safe at second, Tyler Heineman clapping his hands. The Blue Jays take a 2-0 lead.
What a break for the Toronto Blue Jays. Like I said, that 4-pitch walk before this at-bat there was such an important walk because it moves that runner up from first base into scoring position. And Davis Schneider able to score from second base on the error. What a big break for the Toronto Blue Jays.
The second error in the inning for the Red Sox. They might give Heineman a hit. They have, but the error causing all the runners to advance. Now first pitch strike to Alan Rodin, 0-1.
I think that's a good call. I think that's a base hit. That's a tough play for any second baseman. He was shaded towards the second base bag.
Yeah, it might be a play in the future that Campbell either sets his feet or just doesn't throw at all. As Crochet bounces the next one to Rodin, 1-1. So it's second and third for the Blue Jays. 2 outs. Toronto up 2-0. Springer homer, and then 2 errors contributing to Toronto's 2 runs. A 1-1. Inside.
Boy, you can really tell just how tired Garrett Crochet is. No bite on any of his pitches, really, and quite honestly, losing the strike zone here with all of them.
This is his lone left-on-left matchup. Facing Alan Rodin, the 2-1. High and inside, nearly hit him in the head. Ball 3. Rodin giving a thumbs up back to the dugout and the home plate umpire. Alan Rodin has seen Garrett Crochet in spring training. He doubled off of him in Fort Myers. Lefties 3-1. High ball 4. Rodin walks. The bases are loaded, and surely now Crochet's day is done.
Yeah, that's it. 107 pitches for Garrett Crochet.
Alex Cora getting the glove on, getting a pitch comm device into his hand. He's going to walk out, and he's going to make a call to the bullpen here for the Boston Red Sox. It's a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. 2 runs in the inning for the Blue Jays, up 2-0 with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. And the bases are loaded for Bo Bichette. Let's go back to our host today, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Welcome back to Baseball Control. Show Ali here with you. Let's have a quick check of the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. First, let's visit the final from earlier in the day across Major League Baseball. A second straight loss for the Yankees. They fall 5-0 to the Tigers at Comerica Park. Another gem from the reigning AL Cy Young winner, Tarek Skubal. He allowed just 4 hits over 6 innings of work. He struck out 6, walked none. On offense, Spencer Torkelson hitting the first of 3 home runs in the 4th inning of Carlos Carrasco. Zach McKinstry and Dylan Dingler also going yard in the 4th. Gary Carpenter would also hit his 4th home run of the season in the 5th inning as well. Some of the scores from around Major League Baseball. The Cards, as Ben and Chris were saying, are up 5-1. Bottom of the 6th inning on the Pirates. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Washington Nationals up 8-1 on the Dodgers. James Woods has 2 home runs. The Angels are up 2-0 on the Rays. The Phillies enjoying a 4-3 lead on the Braves in Atlanta. Top of the 3rd inning in KC, the Royals and Twins are tied at 0. Bottom of the 2nd inning in Chicago, the Rangers are up 2-1 on the Cubs, and Josh Young making his return from the IL in that game, batting 7th. And over in the NHL, a lot of games on the calendar tonight, a lot of clinching scenarios with the Stanley Cup playoffs right around the corner. In the Atlantic Division, the Leafs can clinch home ice advantage in the first round if they beat the Florida Panthers tonight in regulation. Right now, with about 10 minutes to go in the second period, it is 1-1. And don't forget, after this game is in the books, Leafs Talk with Bunkus and Bourne will be on Sportsnet Plus and Sportsnet's YouTube page. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Zach Kelly on the mound in relief for Garrett Crochet. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Fourth year in the big leagues for the right-hander Zach Kelly. He makes his fourth appearance of the season right now. 2-0 Blue Jays. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Top of the 6th inning. It's Miles Straw on third, Tyler Heineman on second, Alan Roden on first, and Bo Bichette up to the plate. Kelly from the stretch shrugs his shoulders and deals. Fastball for a strike. Mix for the righty is a four-seamer, cutter, sweeper, changeup. Mixes in a sinker every once in a while. 1 earned run in 4 innings so far is 0-1. Called strike again with a fastball, 0-2. Throws his sweeper about half the time. Feels like Bichette was maybe sitting on that pitch as he let 2 fastballs go by him. 2-strike offering. Swing and a grounder foul.
Zach Kelly actually had a pretty solid season last year for the Red Sox. 49 games, 56 2/3 innings, had a 3.97 ERA, but he walked 27 guys in those 56 2/3 innings. So sometimes by those numbers, you can tell he just kind of loses control, loses command of the strike zone.
Is 0-2. Down and away, ball 1. Undrafted free agent signing by Oakland in 2017 out of Division II Newberry College in South Carolina. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a ground ball up the middle into center field, base hit. Into score, Straw. Heineman right behind him. Throw cut off on the mound. It's a 2-run single for Bo Bichette and a 4-0 Blue Jay lead.
That was a tough pitch from Zach Kelly. 94 on the inside part of the plate, and Bo Bichette just ripped those hands through and hammered that thing on the ball back up the middle. And the Blue Jays are leading 4-0 in this ball game. What a big 2-out hit for Bo Bichette.
RBIs 5 and 6 on the year for Bo Bichette on his second hit of the day. Toronto has really made Boston pay for those errors. 3 unearned runs already going on to the line of Garrett Crochet, and still a chance to add more. First and second, 2 outs. Vlad Guerrero Jr. up. And the pitch. Swing and a drive. Right center field. Caught on a line by Rob Refsnyder to end the inning. All 9 Blue Jays come up to the plate, and they score 4, starting with the Springer homer. Bichette caps it off with a 2-run single. 4-0 Toronto, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
With the playoff push intensifying, it's an NBA doubleheader tonight on NBA Radio Channel 86. First, it's the Knicks and Celtics from New York, followed by the Warriors and Suns in Phoenix. It all starts at 7:30 Eastern, with both games airing on Sirius XM's NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the Sirius XM app.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the Sirius XM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favorite club.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on Sirius XM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the Sirius XM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 6th inning. Blue Jays 4, Red Sox nothing. Easton Lucas on the hill, deals to the top of the order, called strike against Jarren Duran. 4-run top of the 6th for Toronto. A George Springer solo homer, and then a couple errors from the Red Sox helped set up Bo Bichette's 2-run single. 0-1. Called strike, 0-2. And for the first time today, Lucas can take a bit of a deep breath now. He's not going head-to-head with Crochet. He has a bit of a cushion. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Yariel Rodriguez was warming up earlier. Now Chad Green is loosening up for the Blue Jays. The 0-2. Hit foul off to the right.
Well, Easton Lucas has now thrown 75 pitches in this ball game, 74 in his first start. I don't know how many he's going to throw in this game. I would imagine 85, maybe 90 finish this inning. Take it to the showers.
0-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 8th punch out for Easton Lucas. 1 out.
Well, you could tell Jarren Duran was just expecting that sweeping slider. And Easton Lucas said, no, I'm throwing a 4-seam fastball up around your hands. He blows that thing by Jarren Duran. What a pitch.
Duran goes to 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and a walk. Here's Rafael Devers, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. The pitch. Fouled off the glove of Heineman, 0-1. When Easton Lucas is starting, obviously Max Scherzer's name in the back of a lot of people's heads. Scherzer did throw, just playing some catch and throwing during warm-ups yesterday. Not feeling pain anymore in that thumb after the cortisone shot, especially at the base of the thumb where the issues were taking place. 0-1 pitch, hit foul, 0-2. He did express that he's feeling some tightness kind of in the middle joint of your thumb. So it's not pain. Keep going until he doesn't feel the tightness anymore, and then he can really start to ramp up. 0-2. In the dirt, 1-2. But how that relates to Easton Lucas, the Blue Jays can feel a lot better potentially about slow playing that and taking the time they need when they have a guy that's shown what he's shown through now 10-plus innings. 1-2 pitch. Up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We didn't know until days before the Washington start if Lucas would even be the starter or if it would be Yariel Rodriguez with Lucas as a long man in the pen. 2-2. Just high, ball 3.
Not a bad pitch. A little sweeper at the top part of the strike zone. Like we talked about, Rafael Devers so good at hitting that low pitch, even below the strike zone. So I wouldn't go down there with this next pitch here.
The 3-2. Hit on a line, right field, base hit. Springer picks it up on a knee and gets it back in. Rafaela caught that slider on the outside edge and just flicked it into right.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's it for Easton Lucas. Although he's pitched really, really well, he is at 82 pitches in this ball game and not generally a starter, so we'll see.
Alex Bregman is scheduled to hit next, and you're right on it. John Schneider walking out to the mound. So that's going to be a pitching change. Brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Needless to say, a great second start for Easton Lucas. He goes 5 1/3, only gives up 3 hits and a walk. He'll leave with a runner on first and 1 out. 4-0 Blue Jays. Chad Green about to enter. Let's go over to our host today. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's do a quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Let's go back to the NHL, where we have 10 games on the calendar tonight. A lot of clinching scenarios of the playoffs right around the corner. So let's take a look at teams that can clinch playoff spots. The Ottawa Senators can clinch a spot if they beat the Blue Jackets in any fashion tonight, or if the Red Wings lose to the Habs also in any fashion. Unfortunately, right now the Blue Jackets up 2-0 with 7 minutes to go in the second period. In Montreal, the Red Wings still up 1-0, 9 minutes to go in the second period. The Washington Capitals are off tonight, but they will clinch the Metro if the Hurricanes lose to the Sabres in regulation. That game right now, the Sabres actually enjoying a 1-0 lead with about 7:16 to go in the second period. We'll keep monitoring that one. And, of course, in the Atlantic Division, the Leafs can clinch home ice advantage in the first round if they beat the Florida Panthers tonight down in Sunrise in regulation. Right now, it is 1-1 with about 6 minutes to go in the second period. And don't forget, after this game is in the books, Leafs talk with Bunkus and Bourne will be on Sportsnet Plus and Sportsnet's YouTube page. And in the NBA, some surprise moves made today in Denver. The Nuggets firing both head coach Mike Malone and GM Calvin Booth. The massive shakeup comes with just 3 games left in the regular season. Assistant coach David Adelman will take over as interim head coach. That's per the team. The Nuggets are 47-32. They are 4th in the Western Conference, but had lost their last 4 games. Malone, the now former head coach, was the 4th longest tenured head coach in the NBA and had led Denver to their first championship back in 2023. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Back to the action we go. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Chad Green on the hill for the Blue Jays. First pitching change of the day for Toronto. Blue Jays up 4-0. It's a runner on first, Rafael Devers, and Alex Bregman at the plate. Green, first base side of the rubber, in the stretch, the pitch. Called strike. After a rocky start to his season, Chad Green's looked good each of the last 3 times out, including his last appearance against the Mets, a scoreless inning and 2/3, 0-1. Slider outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, he's really starting to locate that 4-seam fastball to the top of the strike zone. That's something that he does so well, or when he's at his best, he does that really well. And then he can throw that slider really wherever he wants it.
He rocks and deals. And the fastballs hit foul to the right, 1-2. Green, maybe not a favorite of the Fenway Park faithful due to all of his time pitching in high leverage with the New York Yankees. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out on an elevated fastball. 2 outs in the inning.
I like that he didn't go to an off-speed pitch there, a slider. Alex Bregman obviously thinking something off-speed there, and Chad Green just blows that 4-seamer by him. 94 miles an hour on the outside part. What a pitch.
2 outs. Devers still on first. Rob Refsnyder at the plate. Green's pitch. Slider, strike 1. These 2 former teammates. Refsnyder came up with the Yankees in the mid-2010s when Green was establishing himself as well. The 0-1. Outside. Green followed the path of longtime Yankee and then a multi-year deal with the Blue Jays. Refsnyder has bounced around a lot, although he's been a Red Sox the last 4 years. 1-1. Swing and a miss at a low fastball, 1-2.
Rob Refsnyder's coming up on, I think, 10 years of service time. That's pretty incredible. His debut, I believe, was 2016.
So this is his 10th season in the big leagues. Okay. Service time, he's a little behind because he was up and down a lot early. But he's over 6 years service time. 1-2, high, 2-2. He's found a nice role as a lefty masher. He just crushes left-handed pitching. Last year hit .302 with a .941 on base plus slugging off of left-handed pitching. That's why he's hitting cleanup today. 2-2. Swing and a hard hit ball down the left field line. Fair ball bangs off the retaining wall. That'll keep Devers at second. Refsnyder with a hard single. First and second, 2 outs.
Yeah, that's a break for Chad Green and the Toronto Blue Jays. That ball bounced right to Bo Bichette at shortstop. He throws it into Ernie Clement. Normally that's an easy double, if not a run scored in that situation.
I wonder for Refsnyder, who hit that right over the bag, fair and then off the retaining wall, if he could have had a double, but because Devers couldn't really advance to third without getting thrown out, it limited Refsnyder to a single. Either way, it's 2 on for the Red Sox. 2 outs, 4-0 Blue Jays, bottom 6. Trevor Story's up. Chad Green kicks and deals. Fastball fouled off, 0-1. Story 1 for 3 in his career against Chad Green. A double and 2 RBIs. The 0-1. Slider down and away.
And this is where you really have to dig deep and make a good pitch here if you're Chad Green. You definitely don't want to leave one over the middle of the plate. Trevor Story can go big fly on you, and then it'll be a ball game all of a sudden.
Green kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, 1-2.
I like that pitch too. A breaking ball out of the strike zone. Nothing Trevor Story can do with that except just wail at it.
Big emphasis on out of the strike zone because Story is destroying non-fastballs this year. One of the highest slugging percentages off of breaking balls and off-speed pitches to start the year of anyone in the big leagues, over 700.
So you're saying you would throw a four-seam fastball above the strike zone here?
That would be my pick. The 1-2. Slider down and away. Story lays off of it.
Chad Green disagrees. Big pitch coming here. 2-2 count, 2 outs, 2 runners on base.
I think he goes up now. 2-2. Slider popped up. Right side of the diamond. Guerrero camped under it. Backpedaling, makes the catch and ends the inning. Looked like the wind maybe caught that one as Vladdy went in. Went out left and right, but he got to the ball, and that'll do it for a scoreless bottom of the 6th. No runs on 2 hits for the Red Sox. They leave a pair on. It's 4-0 Blue Jays going to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Enter Night Mode.
It's a stylish Friday night in the city.
Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind. Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hey, this is Chris Bassett. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 7th, Blue Jays 4, Red Sox nothing. Appreciate you spending your night with us. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Zach Kelly's still in the game. The reliever deals to Anthony Santander, who pops up the first pitch behind the plate. Narvaez is taking off the mask, but never drops it as that one lands on the netting and rolls down the netting ramp back down onto the field. 0-1. Second inning in a row that Santander leads off after the Blue Jays sent all 9 to the plate in their 4-run 6th. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
How good does Easton Lucas feel right now? Standing in that dugout still. I bet if this was a Bison's game, he'd be working out, getting his arm rubbed down, soaking this in.
Not a night to go to the ice bath. I'll say it's probably cold enough outside. But yeah, how many times are you going to pitch at Fenway Park and have an outing like this? 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. This seventh inning is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. With one out, George Springer up to the plate. 16th hit and second home run of the season in the sixth inning to break open a 0-0 game. Righty Kelly is set, and the pitch to Springer. Called strike. Coming into today, George Springer was 15 for 33. Last year, he went 15 for his first 68. 0-1 pitch is ripped to left center field. A base hit rolling into the gap. Springer around first. He'll stop there on a nice defensive play by Rafaela, but it's another base hit for George Springer, his 17th of the year.
I mean, that's not just a base hit. He hit that thing right on the screws. Another great swing from George Springer. I said coming into this season, the biggest addition to this roster is a good Bo Bichette. I take that back. The biggest addition is a great George Springer.
He's been the best hitter on this team through 11 and change games. The pitch to Ernie Clement. Springer takes off, swing and a miss. No, it was foul tipped. So Springer's going to go back to first. That pitch was high and went all the way to the backstop. Unclear if that was a hit and run.
I was about to think that.
It might have been because that pitch was real high.
I mean, we've seen Ernie Clement swing at some pitches out of the strike zone, but that one was almost at the nose. That was really out of the strike zone.
The 0-1 in the dirt. I mean, Ernie last year ran about a 85-90% swing percentage, so it is hard to know with him, but either way, Blue Jays did not pull it off. Springer still on first, a 1-1 count with one out. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball out to left. Backing up Duran on the warning track, makes the catch about 3 feet from the wall. Springer jogs back to first, 2 outs.
Off the bat, I thought that had a chance. Duran was probably about 3 or 4 feet from that green monster in left field, but Ernie Clement hit that baseball and slammed the bat on the dirt. You can tell he didn't think he got it.
It's a hanging sweeper, too, a pitch that he had a chance to drive. Got it out deep enough, but not deep enough. Pinch hitter for the Blue Jays, getting the platoon advantage. Davis Schneider lifted for Andres Jimenez, who will bat from the left side against the righty Zach Kelly. Springer on first, 2 outs. And the pitch. Swing and a foul back, 0-1.
I don't mind if Springer takes off here.
It worked the other way a couple times last night. Jimenez kept getting on, stealing second, and Springer would hit him in.
See if they can do it again here. See if you can get a good read on Zach Kelly.
The 0-1. Swing and a line drive to right field. Hanging up, that's down in foul territory. Really close to being fair, and where that wall is so low, could have been a ground rule double. Instead, I believe a brother and sister are going to fight over that ball in the front row. I think the brother won.
Someone's got to run over there and give them another baseball. How much are baseballs nowadays? $20?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
From the team stores or from Walmart?
The good ones.
It's probably somewhere around there. Jimenez swings at the 0-2 and rolls it over to second underhand flip by Campbell over to Story to end the inning. No runs on a hit, a George Springer single, but he's left on first. And at the 7th inning stretch, 4-0 for the Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
I mean, he's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk. A game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble-arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Let's see some talent. Tuesdays on City TV. The stage is set for incredible performances.
I think you're friggin' amazing.
The judges are looking for the next $1 million act.
You devastated the stage.
That will leave you speechless.
You make me laugh. You leave me in awe. That was amazing.
All new Canada's Got Talent. Tuesdays 8/7 Central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
In time! What a play, Bo Bichette!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays baseball, and welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host and producer, Tom Young, our technical director. It's the bottom of the seventh. It's 4-0 Blue Jays, and it's a pitching change for Toronto, brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Chad Green out of the game, Yariel Rodriguez into the ball game. In the bottom of the eighth inning, he'll take on 6, 7, 8 in the Red Sox orders, starting with Christian Campbell. Into the wind, his pitch. Fastball called strike.
Well, Yariel Rodriguez has had really good stuff this season so far, but he hasn't really put it all together in terms of command of that fastball quite yet. If he can command the 96 to 98, he's going to be a big addition to the back of that bullpen.
His 0-1 is a fastball line to center field. Charging in, Straw makes the catch, chest high, 1 out. Yariel Rodriguez had a really rough first outing of the year, which has inflated his overall season numbers when he gave up 3 to the Orioles in an inning. Overall, he's given up 4 runs in 4 innings of work. Looked particularly good in that first relief outing against the Orioles on the 30th.
And that's when he flashed 98s.
He winds and deals to Romy Gonzalez. 96 up and away, ball 1.
Keep in mind, with the wind chill, it's -7. And that might have been the beginning of the start of the ball
first
game.
Pitch. 1-0. Swing and a miss and a slider at the ankles, 1-1. It's now officially 0 degrees, and it's feeling like -10. So it's only getting nicer.
That is absurd.
The 1-1. Swinging a line drive to left field, and that's going to land fair, bouncing into the corner. Gonzalez racing for second. Stand-up double with 1 out.
Well, Tyler Heineman wanted that slider from Yariel Rodriguez on the outside part of the plate. It just backed up, stayed inside, and Romy Gonzalez does a good job hammering that thing into the corner in left field.
First extra base hit of the day for this powerful Red Sox lineup. Blue Jays are getting Brendan Little warmed up. One thing to think about with this Boston team, they have 4 left-handed hitters on the bench. They shelved a lot of their regular guys because it was a lefty starter today. Now at the bottom of the order, you could see some pinch hitters for Boston. Looks like we'll get one right now. Carlos Narvaez, the catcher, is going to be lifted for Wilyer Abreu, who was quiet in the series opener, but hasn't been in any other game this year. He's been one of the best hitters in baseball to start the season.
Yeah, if you're Yariel Rodriguez, kind of regroup out there. You don't worry about that guy at second base all that much. You're up by 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th. The biggest thing that you have to focus on right now is just throwing strike 1, strike 2, and that guy standing in that batter's box.
That guy is the left-handed hitter, Wilyer Abreu, who's 14 for 33 on the year, a .424 average, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 12 RBIs, also 8 walks. With 1 out and a runner on second, the pitch. Looping line drive to short, caught by Bichette, 2 outs.
That's a really good pitch. 96 miles an hour in on the hands of Willie Abreu. You can see him kind of shaking his head, walking back to that dugout. That is a huge pitch in this ball game.
Alex Cora elects to stick with the right-handed hitter Cedon Rafaela now, with a runner on second and Gonzalez and 2 down. 4-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the 7th. A look at second, the pitch. Hit back foul, 0-1. Speedy Cedon Rafaela, 1 for 2 today. A single in the 3rd inning to left field. The 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Again, you're not worrying about that guy at second base. Whether he takes off, whether he's dancing around out there, that's none of your concern. That guy in the batter's box is the concern right now.
The lanky right-handed hitter Rafaela. 1-1. Swing and a foul off, 1-2.
Really nice pitch there.
Rafaela's got a long swing. He chases and swings and misses a fair amount. What are you using to try and get him to swing and miss on a 1-2?
I'm going fastball up here, but I would also bounce a breaking ball.
Rodriguez kicks and offers, and he bounced a breaking ball. Good block off the left shoulder by Heineman.
If you're going to bounce a breaking ball in that situation, you have to make it look enticing. That one, I'm pretty sure, bounced in front of the plate. Most big league hitters aren't going to offer it that.
Two lineouts and a double. Runner on second for the Red Sox with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rodriguez looks in and offers. Better breaking ball, but still low and still taken by Rafaela. Full count.
He has a really good feel for that fastball right now. He's commanding it in the strike zone really well. He just hasn't found the breaking ball. That's why I tend to shy away from that breaking ball right now. You don't want to throw a little spinner over the middle.
You don't want to walk him to face the top of the order in Jarren Duran. 3-2. Fastball, Baltimore chopped over the mound and off the glove of Jimenez at second into center field. Coming around third, Gonzalez scores. Rafaela will remain on first base. A rare miscue defensively for Andres Jimenez, who just entered after being a pinch hitter in the spot of Davis Schneider.
Well, I think that even if Andres Jimenez comes up with that ball, it probably would have been a tough play to get Cedon Rafaela at first base. That's why I tend to think if I'm playing second base there, I just want to keep that ball in front of me and keep that runner at third base. But if anybody's going to make that play, it's probably Andres Jimenez. So maybe if you're John Schneider, you're okay with him taking that chance there.
They are going to rule that a hit and no error. Thought maybe they'd rule it a hit and an error to score Jarren Duran, but that'll be an earned run on the line of Yariel Rodriguez for now, who's lifted from the ballgame with the top of the order coming up. This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Let's go back to today's host with the Blue Jays up 4-1 and Brendan Little coming in. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We'll start in the NHL as pretty much, every single game in an intermission right now. The Leafs and Panthers tied at 1. That game in an intermission. You can obviously watch and listen to Leafs talk once this game is in the books. Once the third period is over, Bunkus and Bourne will have it for you on YouTube and Sportsnet Plus. The Sabres are up 2-0, end of 2 on the Hurricanes. The Red Wings and Canadiens now tied at 2. The Habs getting one back right before the end of the period. Third period coming up. The Sens are trailing the Blue Jackets 3-1, end of 2. The Bruins currently doubling up the Devils 4-2. The Devils do win in regulation. They could clinch a playoff spot, but no dice as of right now. The Penguins up 2-0 on the Blackhawks. The Canucks trailing the Stars 2-0, end of the first period. You can watch that game on Sportsnet Pacific. You can listen to it on Sportsnet 650, the Fan in Vancouver, of course. Canucks Talk post-game will follow on the radio once that game is over. And end of the first period, the Islanders and Predators tied at 2. Ryan O'Reilly scoring his 300th career goal in that game. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. The Red Sox on the board for the first time today on the RBI single from Cedar Rafaela. Just a high hopper over the mound that found the right spot, tipping off Jimenez into center. And now Boston with some life. So John Schneider goes into his bullpen and brings out the lefty Brendan Little to get the advantage in the matchup on Jarren Duran.
And it's a big spot for Brendan Little. We've seen him kind of in those higher leverage situations later in ball games lose command of that fastball. Here he really has to focus on hitting the bottom part of that strike zone.
He had a tough outing and then a really good outing against the Mets in the first series of the trip. The pitch. In the dirt, bounces off of Heineman and into the netting. That's one base. So Rafaela goes up to second and stops there on a wild pitch.
And Brendan Little has a fastball that's really tough to command. It has a lot of vertical movement, something you don't really see much from any pitchers, really. So I understand why it's difficult. You just have to throw that thing right down the middle and let it move.
Is 1-0. Called strike right down the middle, 0-1. Or pardon me, 1-1. It makes you think a little bit of what the Blue Jays and Zach Pop were going through for a couple of years. 1-1. Swing and a miss at a fastball, 1-2.
Zach Pop had a little bit different fastball just because he had the horizontal movement, kind of the run. Brendan Little's is much more effective because it has the depth to it, which is so much harder to hit.
It's that bowling ball sinker.
Right.
1-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Got him to chase the curve in the dirt. Duran arguing the call of a swing with Ron Culpa, but he's set down on strikes, and that'll do it for the inning. The Red Sox get 1 on 2 hits, but it's still a Blue Jay lead, 4-1, as we go to the 8th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The best clubs in world soccer are battling it out in the UEFA Champions League. And you can hear all the drama on Sirius XM FC.
It's Rafinha, and Rafinha has won it!
Quarterfinal play continues in Spain, where FC Barcelona battle Borussia Dortmund.
Guirassy is there, and Guirassy has scored.
Barca versus Dortmund, tomorrow at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike three and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman, alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host and producer, and Tom Young, our technical director. 4-1 Blue Jays, top of the 8th. Still Zach Kelly. Reliever starts his 3rd inning with a ball down and away to Miles Straw. Red Sox had a doubleheader on Sunday, so getting some length out of Kelly here, getting some rest for other guys would be big. 1-0. Called strike, 1-1. Mentioned last inning that Kelly was an undrafted free agent signing out of the 40-round draft era. Out of D2 Newberry College. Is 1-1 is lined to right field, and that'll get down for a base hit. Not hit especially hard, but dumped the opposite way by Miles Straw.
Yeah, that was just a little half swing from Miles Straw. Not sure if he was trying to do that, but it was a pretty good job finding the hole.
Second time aboard for Straw today after a walk in the 6th.
I always like to see undrafted guys have success. I don't know how you feel about it.
No, I mean, it would take a pretty cynical person to be like, I only want D1s.
Only want first rounders.
Well, so not only is he an undrafted signing, sometimes you're an undrafted signing, but you still get a little bit of money. You might have some leverage playing a couple teams off each other. Well, the Oakland A's gave him $500. The pitch to Tyler Heineman, high ball 1.
I wonder if that's including the plane ticket.
I was going to say they covered his flight from the East Coast to the West Coast, and then they released him less than a year later. Kelly's career was really in flux at that point, had some time in the minor leagues with the Angels. And he's going to get a pitch clock violation. Kelly was warned and then did it again. He got set before the batter was set and looking out at him in the box, which you can't do in the pitch clock era. So it's a 2-0 count rather than a 1-0 count against Heineman. Switch hitter is batting left now, the right on left pitch. Outside ball 3. So he's released by the A's. He signs on with the Angels on a minor league deal in 2018. Needed elbow ligament surgery and got released again amid the mess of 2020 with no minor leagues. A lot of people probably pack it up at that point, but he latched on in 21 with the Red Sox and made it up to the majors in 2022. He misses outside here. It's a walk to Heineman, 2 aboard with no outs.
I mean, talk about perseverance. Holy cow. I'm surprised the Red Sox actually gave him another chance. I'm sure a lot of GMs would look at the track record released by multiple teams. Undrafted free agent. They would say,
barely pitched in pro ball.
Who is this dude? No, we don't need him.
But Boston figured it out. They've had great success finding pitching out of their own system, acquiring pitching over the last couple years. Kelly here, though, in a little bit of trouble in his 3rd inning of work. Single to Straw, a walk to Heineman. 3rd time aboard today for Heineman. Here's Alan Roden. No outs, 1st and 2nd, top of the 8th. And the pitch. Called strike. Blue Jays would love to open up this lead. John Schneider had mentioned yesterday that the difference between 7-2 and 6-2 was the difference between using Jeff Hoffman as they did and using Jacob Barnes instead. If you use Hoffman today, you don't have him tomorrow. 0-1, cut and a miss, nothing in 2.
Really nice change up there from Zach Kelly. Alan Roden was way out in front of it, but like you said, it would be great if Jeff Hoffman didn't have to come into this ballgame. A big run standing out at second base.
Makes it much easier to stack wins together, win series, sweep series, when you can keep your bullpen fresh. 0-2. High and outside by a good margin, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It really just shortens the game. If you have a fresh bullpen, if you have all your high leverage guys fresh and ready to go.
Righty kicks and fires. This is down and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Blue Jays have used Little and Green and Rodriguez today. They should have everyone available. Used Hoffman and Garcia yesterday. The 2-2. Swing and a line drive past the first baseman, but it's foul. Thought that might have snuck in between Romy Gonzalez and the bag, but rather it was wide of the bag, so it's still 2-2, and I think Roden snapped his bat.
Good thing he's in the big leagues and bats are free.
It's a new feeling for him.
He was in Buffalo. He's paying $150 for that thing.
So what happens? You get a bill at your locker after the game? Or
no, you just have...
Or you just bought a bunch of them before?
You just get in touch. Either your agent does it, or you can get in touch with Marucci or Hickory or whatever bat company you use. And obviously you get a discount if you're a pro guy. So $150 bat or $200 bat probably costs you $100. But that still adds up.
It's more than free.
Yeah.
New bat and another 2-2. High, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
But the minor league teams also provide, I forget what, I believe it's Rawlings, a really terrible wood bat, and nobody likes using them.
Not getting a Rawlings sponsorship soon, Chris LaRue. 3-2 pitch is bounced foul right side. Rodin fighting up there. He's seen 7 pitches. Oh for 2 with a walk today is Alan Rodin. One foot in, 1 foot out of the box. Now he steps in, taps the plate. Open stance for the left-handed hitter. First and second, nobody out. The 3-2. Called strike 3 right on the outside corner, and Rodin walks back to the dugout.
Well, Rodin acted like he was going to throw his bat back to the dugout, but I think he was just fooled on that pitch. A really nice changeup from Zach Kelly right on the outside corner.
Kelly needed that one after the tough start to the inning and then a lot of pitches to Alan Rodin. But now it's the top of the order for the Blue Jays, and a 2 for 3. Bo Bichette comes up, having already knocked in 2 runs today. Straw on second, Heineman on first. 4-1 Blue Jays, 1 out in the 8th. Kelly's pitch. Called strike. Front door sweeper, 0-1. Over 30 pitches today for Zach Kelly. His 33rd of the outing. In the dirt, picked by the new catcher, Blake Sabol, who came in after Carlos Narvaez was lifted for Wilyer Abreu in a pinch hitting situation in the bottom of the 7th.
Bo Bichette's 2 for 3 tonight, and is now hitting 300 on the season. Small sample size.
1-1. Low, 2-1.
When can we stop saying small sample size?
My honest opinion is going to upset you and many people listening. 60 games.
That's not bad. That's probably
maybe
what
more.
I thought 45, but 60 is fine.
I mean, you don't really know if a team or a lot of players are going to have success or fail a lot until that point. 2-1 pitches, line to left center base hit. Straw taken off around third. He gets the wave, throw to the plate, bounces in offline. Miles Straw with a head first dive, and Bo Bichette with an RBI single. It's 5-1.
Well, another great swing from Bo Bichette. A cutter almost on the dirt, and Bo Bichette goes down and golfs that thing over the shortstop. A huge run for the Toronto Blue Jays. Hopefully they don't have to use Jeff Hoffman in this ball game anymore.
Third RBI of the game for Bichette, who now has 7 on the season. And as he's on a quest for another year leading the American League in hits, perhaps a first batting title, he's stacking up some really good days over this road trip.
I mean, I don't know who's hotter, George Springer or Bo Bichette. That's a tough one.
Tough one.
You don't have to answer that.
I'm not going to. RBI single, though, and Bichette has knocked Zach Kelly out of this ball game. The former Blue Jay farmhand, Josh Wadenkowski, coming in a pitching change that's brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Let's quickly go to the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The Yankees lost earlier today, so they're 6-5. The Blue Jays are 6-5, and the Red Sox are 6-5. 3 teams tied atop the American League East. Baltimore coming in right behind them at 5-6. They play later tonight against Arizona. And then you have the Tampa Bay Rays 4-5 and trailing last time I saw. Oh, no, leading now over the Angels. Quickly, before Winkowski's ready, let's go back to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. One more check in the NHL. 10 games on the calendar tonight. Leafs-Panthers going on right now in Sunrise. Now 2-1 Panthers. Florida scoring about a minute into the third period. Florida currently hanging on to the 3rd spot in the Atlantic Division, while the Ottawa Senators are just 2 points back, currently occupying the 1st wildcard spot. So a win for Florida and a loss for Ottawa would widen that gap to 4 points. Right now, the Sens elsewhere, still trailing 3-1 to the Blue Jackets in Columbus. The third period just underway. In Dallas, the Canucks taking on the Stars. Vancouver trailing 2-0. The second period underway. The Stars, of course, just 5 points back of the Jets for the division lead in the Central. Other scores elsewhere, third period underway in Montreal. That game is tied 1-1 between the Habs and the Red Wings. The Sabres lead the Hurricanes 3-0. Third period underway there as well. The Bruins currently doubling up the Devils 4-2, and the Penguins leading the Blackhawks 2-0. Blue Jays baseball is, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action with Josh Winkowski on the mound. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. First appearance of the season for Winkowski as the Red Sox look for more fresh arms in the pen. They brought him up today, designated Robert Stock for assignment. Winkowski threw in 40 games for Boston last year, including 6 starts, 76 innings. He had a 4.14 ERA. His pitch to Vlad Guerrero hits him in the back. And a tough way to start the outing. Winkowski hits Vlad, and the bases are loaded for the Blue Jays with 1 out.
Well, I don't know if that's from him just sitting down in that cold weather all game long, or it's some nerves with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. standing in that batter's box, but that can't feel good. Up around the deltoid. He's smiling. He feels good.
Winkowski, a former Blue Jay farmhand, drafted by Toronto in the 15th round in 2016 out of a Florida high school. So bases loaded, 1 out. Anthony Santander is up hitless today. First pitch, hit on the ground, foul, 0-1. Righty kicks and deals and misses downstairs.
I tell you what, if I was Josh Winkowski, I wouldn't be happy if I was in AAA. His last couple of years in Boston have been pretty good. 84 and a third innings in 23, 76 innings last year for Boston, and he finds himself in Worcester. Wait, what's their AAA?
Worcester, yeah.
Worcester, yeah.
He's kind of a swingman, kind of a starter.
I don't care. I'm still upset.
I get it. It's 1-1. Swing and a hard ground ball right side. Running stop by Campbell. Second baseman throws to first, but a run comes in to score. Tyler Heineman to the plate. Bichette to third. Guerrero to second. An RBI ground out for Anthony Santander, and it's 6-1.
Yeah, that's not what you want from your cleanup hitter, Anthony Santander, but I think the Blue Jays will take it in this situation. A much-needed run. Now you can perhaps get Jacob Barnes in the game, save some of your high-leverage guys. A big RBI from Santander here.
For Santander, his second RBI of the season. Here's George Springer. First pitch hit on the ground sharply to third. Bregman, his former teammate, throws over a runner to first and gets Springer to end the inning. The Blue Jays score twice on 2 hits. Bo Bichette with another RBI, knocking Toronto up 6-1, middle of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here at Home Hardware's Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale, everyone's saving on everything they need to tackle their reno project. Like bringing their living room into this century with 25% off Canadian-made Beauty Tone Pure Interior and Specialty Paint. Or tackling that bathroom reno with up to $200 off Max shower units. That's better. Earn and redeem Scene Plus points during the Bring Beauty Tone Home Reno Sale. On now at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Law and Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law and Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law and Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law and Order Toronto, Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law and Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Strike three. Kevin Gausman strikes out the side.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts or descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Mason Fluharty into the game. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Chris, you had called for it a little bit earlier. They finally get Mason Fluharty a low leverage major league outing after two pretty high leverage appearances to start his major league career.
I can tell you this much. This is still high leverage to Mason Fluharty. That heart is beating pretty quickly right now. I can almost tell you that.
Well, and he starts with Rafael Devers and misses outside, ball one. Blue Jays are up 6-1, though, after the two runs. They have a bit of a cushion here as 2-3-4 comes up for Boston. 1-0 to the DH Devers. Outside again, ball two.
So there's a big difference. So I'm just speaking specifically to Mason Fluharty, not Jacob Barnes, but there's a big difference being ahead 6-1 and behind 6-1.
Right.
Ahead 6-1 is still pretty close when you're talking about Mason Fluharty.
2-0. Swing and a foul back, 2-1. There's still a lead to lose.
Right. That's down 6-1. There's nothing really to lose. You're probably going to lose that game, or whether you give up 6 runs, whether you strike out the side, it doesn't really matter.
Fluharty on the extreme first base side of the rubber. Throws a fastball that's hit on the ground to deep short. Backhanded Bichette. Rifle throw to first past Guerrero, who dove to try to block it. Heineman picks it up as that one stayed in play off the side retaining wall. That should be a base hit for Devers as that ball was hit pretty deep onto the left center field grass.
And you could see Bo Bichette blowing into his hand right now with his fist near his mouth. That's a tough play usually, but in this frigid temperatures, I mean, tough to throw that baseball across the diamond.
And just trying to get enough strength on it, he yanked it. They will rule that an error on Bichette. Feels a little harsh to me, but
that's a harsh error.
Also takes a hit away from Rafael Devers. Pitch down to Alex Bregman, called strike.
This also puts a lot more pressure on Mason Fluharty. Has to make a good pitch here to Alex Bregman.
Is 0-1 to Bregman. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. All fastballs so far from the lefty. The 1-1. There's the breaking ball. Backdoor strike, 1-2.
That's a really good pitch. Alex Bregman looking back at Ron Kolpa. Didn't like that call, but that thing just clipped the black on the outside part.
It's a cut fastball and a sweeper. Both pitches move to the glove side. The 1-2. Cutter hit on the ground, foul.
I just can't get used to saying sweeper.
It feels like it's actually being phased back out again, so you might not have to. You prefer slurve?
15 of my years, I've said slurve, I've said slider. I can't get used to it. I need to, but I just can't.
I do need an inside baseball on what makes a sweeper and a slurve that different. 1-2. Called, strike 3. Backdoor cutter, top of the zone. Down goes Bregman, 1 out.
Again, Alex Bregman didn't like that call, shaking his head as he walks back to the dugout, but that was a perfect cutter up and away, catching that black outside. What a frame job from Tyler Heineman, too.
So 1 out and Rob Refsnyder up. The pitch. Backdoor sweeper, strike 1.
He's looked pretty comfortable the last 5 or 6 pitches.
Thrown right into it out of necessity for the Blue Jays in his first 2 outings, pitching in leverage, but now getting an opportunity at least slightly lower leverage with Toronto up 6-1. The 0-1. Hit foul to the right. A point out from Heineman. Really emphasizing how much you like that pitch with a fist pump as well. It's 0-2.
That's the thing I like about Tyler Heineman. I love when catchers are back there pumping up the pitch. Even if it's a bad pitch, they want to make you feel like you hit the right spot or threw the right pitch. I like that from guys.
0-2. High cutter hit on the ground at third. Up with it, Clement. Throw to second one. Back to first. Inning-ending double play. 5-4-3. The Blue Jays turn it, and Mason Fluharty faces the minimum in the bottom of the eighth. We go to the ninth inning. Toronto 6, Boston 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Because sometimes the music needs to speak for itself. Set the mood with instrumental chant.
Hey, baseball fans, thanks so much for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, this morning, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching. And now is the time of the show for you to let us know, where are you watching from? Where are you cheering on the Blue Jays from in this chat, hanging out with us on TSI from all over the world? Let us know in the chat your city and province, city and state, or international. Let us know what country you're watching in. And then once you've let us know in the chat, just click that link that's pinned or is flying through there. That's going to take you to our website, TorontoSportsInsider.com, where you can show and see where everyone else in the world is watching from with our cool, awesome map feature. We'll see you back in the chat. Let's go, Blue Jays!
It's the Food City 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ninth inning for the Blue Jays at Fenway Park. Josh Winkowski winds and deals to Ernie Clement to the first pitch, cut on and missed. 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's 6-1 for the Blue Jays. One of their more dominant performances so far. Still one more inning left in this game. 0-1. Just low. 1 ball, 1 strike. I joked about his aggressiveness earlier. It does feel like we're seeing a slightly more patient Ernie Clement so far this year. The 1-1. Called strike 1 and 2.
Outside of that one swing earlier in the ball.
Yes.
But we're not sure if that was a hit and run or not.
His one double this year almost hit him in the foot. But Clement has that thing where he makes so much contact. Sometimes he gets himself in trouble because he can hit almost any pitch. 1-2 is in the dirt. 2-2. While you can make contact with a lot of pitches, if you're reaching out to the outside corner, the pitcher wants you to make contact with that pitch, you're probably going to hit a ground ball. Winkowski shrugs the shoulders. Glove overhead in the wind. 2-2. Swing and a foul ball left side. That was eye high, or at least letter high. And Clement fought it away. 2-2.
Right on cue.
So much for the patience, Ernie. Thanks for that one. But he hit a couple balls last year. A couple homers. Way up, way down. Found a way to get to baseballs that other people just can't. 2-2. Hit foul off to the left.
Didn't he hit a record or set a record for the
it was a StatCast era highest one. Yeah, I think it got beat later in the year. C.J. Abrams hit one that was really high up. But I'd ask Ernie after those, what is it even like to talk to your hitting coach after you swing at that pitch but get a homer? 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. He would just say, he'd smile, but he'd say, probably shouldn't have swung it. Can't get mad at you when you hit it out, but they are going to tell you not to swing at it again. Clement swings and misses there, 1 down. Andres Jimenez will hit for the second time in the game. Pinch hit for Davis Schneider in the 7th. First pitch from Winkowski's down the middle, strike one.
So during that at-bat, Ernie Clement swung at 2 horrible pitches.
But he had one good take.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
The 0-1. Inside. I'm not saying he's going to turn into Kevin Youkilis.
I'm just joking.
But he seems to me, especially on first pitches where he swung almost all the time last year, to just let one go by, or maybe take a strike even if it's a good pitch. 1-1 is low, 2-1. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth, Trevor Story, Christian Campbell, Romy Gonzalez scheduled to hit for Boston, although they still have Casas and Hamilton on the bench. 2-1. Inside, ball 3. And the Blue Jays have Jacob Barnes loosening up in their bullpen.
Yeah, and like I said, those 2 runs that they got in the 8th inning, were big because you don't have to use the high leverage guys. You can use Mason Fluharty. You can use Jacob Barnes.
3-1 is hit well, left field, hit right at Durant on a line, 2 outs.
And the Blue Jays still have 8 games in a row without an off day after tonight's game. So it's really important that you save those high leverage guys and you use the lower leverage guys like Fluharty and Barnes.
2 outs, bases are empty. Miles Straw's up to the plate. He's had a nice day, 1 for 3 with a walk and a single, 2 runs scored. The wind and the pitch. Called strike. Straw probably providing a little bit more than the Blue Jays would have expected very early on, but from the plate providing a little bit more after being mostly a defensive specialist over the last couple seasons. The 0-1. Swing, and he fouls it off his lead ankle, 0-2.
Miles Straw hitting .353. I'm not going to tell you how many at-bats he has, but let's just say .353.
Should I keep it secret? He's 6 for 17. But it's a good start, especially when you're not playing every day, to come in and pick up hits when you are.
He still has 57 games to go until he's...
0-2 is popped up, foul right side, and that's out of play.
Until that sample size is no longer small.
Yeah. One thing he is doing right now, in a limited sample, he's hitting the ball a lot harder this year than he has in previous years, averaging about 89 miles an hour off the bat, which last year in his brief stint in the majors, he was below 80. And if you look at comparables, last year Corbin Carroll averaged the same that Straw is averaging right now, but over a full season. 0-2 is tapped over the mound softly to second. Campbell picks it up, throws to first just in time to beat Straw and end the inning. 1-2-3 for Winkowski, and we go to the bottom of the ninth. Blue Jays leading 6-1. We'll be back in a second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Enter Night Mode. It's a stylish Friday night in the city. Every Friday home game.
No doubter.
Where we celebrate everything that makes our city one of a kind.
Anything that counts.
Would you always feel like part of the show? On Friday, April 18th, be at the ballpark early and get your Blue Jays City Connect Bomber Jacket giveaway presented by Enercare. The first 50,000 fans will be geared up for spring nights in the city. City Connect Fridays. Night Mode. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Hola, soy Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Está escuchando a Toronto Blue Jays Baseball en la radio de Sportsnet.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. The Blue Jays leading the Red Sox 6-1 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning at Fenway Park. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk tonight. Blair and Barker have the post-game show. They will take your calls and your texts this evening. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Again, the Blue Jays are leading it 6-1 in the bottom of the 9th inning in Boston. With the call, here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, show. Right-hander Jacob Barnes enters the game for the Blue Jays. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware. Cover all your project spaces with the Bring Beauty Tone home sale. Toronto is up 6-1. They'll face 5, 6, 7 in the Red Sox order, starting with Trevor Story for Barnes, his 4th appearance of the season. Right-hander Barnes with a 9 ERA and limited action early on through his first scoreless outing for the Blue Jays on the 4th against the Mets, went an inning and 2/3 against New York, did not allow a base runner and struck out 1. Veteran righty gets set and is pitched to Trevor Story. Low and away, ball 1.
When you're coming into a situation like this, up by 5, late in a ball game, the goal of a reliever is just throw strikes. Just make them put the bat on the baseball.
1-0 is hit in the air down the right field line. Springer charging in toward foul territory. That gets out of play. 1-1. Still some fans hanging around at Fenway Park, but chilly night. Blue Jays up 6-1. It's thinned out a little bit. I was impressed with the near 26,000 yesterday with the rain coming down. Still going to the game. The 1-1. Swinging a liner down in center field. Blocked by Straw. Base hit for Story to start the inning.
Again, that's fine. You just have to forget that happened. You're still up by 5 runs. Don't worry about that guy at first base. Worry about the guy in the batter's box throwing strikes and trying to get him out.
2-hit day for Trevor Story. Christian Campbell is due up next. Mentioned in the top half of the inning, but if you weren't with us, 2 bats remaining on the bench for the Red Sox. Tristan Casas and David Hamilton, both left-handed hitters. The pitch to Campbell. Low ball 1.
And I'd imagine that Jeff Hoffman is stretching, staying warm. He's not out of this ball game yet.
It would only take a couple more base runners to make it a safe situation. 1-0. In the dirt, 2-0.
And like I said, the biggest thing that you have to really try to do as a reliever coming into this ball game is throw strikes. Jacob Barnes falling behind 2-0.
Tyler Heineman walked the ball out to the mound, just giving a word quickly to the veteran Barnes before Heineman settles back in behind the plate. 6-1 Toronto, no outs and a runner on first. Bottom of the 9th. 2-0. Hit on the ground, foul, third base side, 2-1. Campbell hitless today, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. The 2-1. Lined up the middle again, and an identical base hit into center. Story scoots up to second, back-to-back singles. Last one came off the bat at Campbell, and there are 2 on with nobody out.
Boy, Christian Campbell is an electric player. Just hammered that baseball back up the middle. He's only 22 years old.
Hit 108 miles an hour off the bat.
It's a good feeling as a hitter when you just hit that ball in a line right back at the pitcher.
Can't square it up better than that. Jeff Hoffman has officially taken off the jacket and started to move around in the Blue Jay pen. 2 on for the Red Sox. Romy Gonzalez up, and the pitch. Down and away, ball 1. Gonzalez had the double in the 7th, but interesting, they decide to keep the first baseman in rather than go to the power-hitting left-handed hitter, Tristan Casas. Gonzalez is off to a hard start, and Casas is struggling to start the year. The 1-0 hit on the ground back to the mound. Throw to second for one. Jimenez over to first. 1-4-3 double play, and big credit to Andres Jimenez, who had to stretch toward right center with that throw from Barnes tailing away.
Not a great throw from Jacob Barnes, but if anybody can catch that throw glove side, it's Andres Jimenez. Whew. That was not a comfortable throw from Jacob Barnes to second base.
He put his first baseman's hat on for a second and got into a stretch, and because it was hit right back to Barnes, had plenty of time to turn it over to Guerrero for the double play. So 2 outs, runner on third. It's Blake Sabol batting. Catcher hits for the first time today. Called strike on the first pitch, 0-1.
But Jacob Barnes feels a lot more comfortable now.
After 2 singles in a row, he gets the double play. Jeff Hoffman might have stopped getting ready, or at least slowed it down a little bit. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Sabol appeared in 11 games with the Giants last season. Incredibly limited sample, hit .313. The 1-1. In the dirt, blocked by Heineman. Called up Sabol today when Connor Wong went on the injured list. Funny enough, the guy who just blocked the ball behind the plate was kind of in this position for the Red Sox most of last year. He was the Worcester Red Sox catcher for a lot of the season. Appeared in 2 games with Boston before the Blue Jays picked him up late in the year. The 2-1. Swing and a miss on a ball that scoots away from home plate a couple feet, but Heineman scrambles to it to keep the runner at third, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 6-1 for the Blue Jays, trying to lock up a second straight win and ensure at least a series split in this 4-gamer on the road at Fenway Park. Would also take over the lead in the division. Runner on third, 2 outs against 6-1 Blue Jays, a 2-2 count. Right on left, the pitch to Sabol. Low, ball 3.
It's a good pitch. Just throw a fastball down and away here. Make him put the bat on the baseball.
Cedar Rafaela on deck. Story leading off third into the eye line of the right-hander Jacob Barnes, who's set just above the belt. And the 3-2. Called strike 3. Blue Jays win. A dominant pitching performance from Easton Lucas. Strong hitting in the later innings, and Toronto takes the first 2 at Fenway Park.
What a game from the offense, but most importantly, what a game from Easton Lucas. Of the 20 batters he faced tonight, he threw 17 first pitch strikes. That is incredible. 82 pitches, 57 strikes. We knew coming into this game it would be a tall task going up against Garrett Crochet. But Easton Lucas, I think, was the winner tonight.
6-1, the Blue Jays winners for sure. We're going to step aside, come back, wrap it up, and get you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong Bird Food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He delivers a 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays baseball after a 6-1 Toronto win over the Boston Red Sox. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays winning today after a pitcher's duel most of the way. Garrett Crochet was good today. He fought it a little bit, but Chris, Easton Lucas was even better. Get your thoughts in a second because Easton Lucas is today's player of the game. He's gone in, down, and up so far in 3 pitches to Devers. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. You've gone in, down, and up, so go out for your 4th pitch. Back-to-back punchies for Easton Lucas. 2 down. Lucas set, staring at the base runner. And the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Tied him up with the fastball. 5th K for Lucas in 4 scoreless innings. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 8th punch out for Easton Lucas. 1 out.
Well, you could tell Jarren Duran was just expecting that sweeping slider. And Easton Lucas said, no, I'm throwing a 4-seam fastball up around your hands. He blows that thing by Jarren Duran. What a pitch. Well, Easton Lucas struck out 8 and walked only 1. This was his 2nd career big league start, his 15th career professional start. And it was a great one. It was one of the best starts I've seen this season. He was locating everything. He threw that changeup in fastball counts. He threw the fastball in. Wasn't afraid to come in against a very good Boston Red Sox lineup in a very nerve-wracking place, especially like we talked about, going up against Garrett Crochet, one of the best left-handed pitchers in all of baseball. And Easton Lucas bested him today.
His final line, 5 1/3, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 8 Ks. Again, it's a lineup with Duran, Devers, Bregman, Story, and he didn't give up an extra base hit, only 3 singles all evening. On the other side, the Blue Jays did not score until the 6th inning. They had bases loaded in the first against Crochet, and then the left-hander mostly cruised. But George Springer did it again, Chris. He had a solo home run in the 6th, and Bo Bichette came up for the Blue Jays a couple different times in the latter stages to make it back-to-back games for Toronto with 6 runs scored.
Yeah, and I don't know who's hotter right now, Bo Bichette or George Springer, but they're both really using the big part of the field. That's the most impressive and important thing to their success. Bo Bichette going gap to gap, and of course George Springer, who's just coming out of nowhere, lighting the world on fire with how well he's doing. But all the Blue Jays need is a little bit of Vlad, a little bit of Santander, and they'll quickly rise the ranks in the power rankings.
6-1. The Blue Jays win it. 6 runs on 9 hits, 1 error, 10 left for Toronto. 1 run on 8 hits, 2 errors, 7 left for Boston. Easton Lucas with the win, now 2-0. Garrett Crochet with the loss, 1-1, no save. Game took 2 hours and 46 minutes, 2 degrees at first pitch, and 25,575 were on hand at Fenway Park. It is early April, but the Blue Jays take over the division lead with the win. They are now 7-5. The Red Sox back to 500 at 6-6. Toronto will try to take the series tomorrow. Kevin Gausman against Tanner Houck. Another 6:45 first pitch, 6:45 Eastern. We'll be on at 6:30 and hope to see you then. For our technical director, Tom Young, our host and producer, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great night and stick around. The winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker starts right now.
And if you were the Blue Jays, 5 1/3 out of Easton Lucas against Garrett Crochet. 8 strikeouts, 3 hits. You got a 6-1 win. Your bullpen is set up for tomorrow. When you've got Kevin Gausman going, you got a chance to win the series. That's just about perfect from a pitching point of view, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, Easton Lucas, you look at that, right? Pressure on the hitter with the tempo. That's a big deal. Quality location with strike one. He was 17 out of 20. The sweeper and the slider, same tunnel, slider a little bit harder. The change up before and after the four-seamer, about 9 to 10 miles an hour. He attacked. He didn't let the green monster affect how he wanted to use both sides of the plate. Give Heineman credit. Every time he seems to catch, it just looks like it's going smooth. Like whenever he needs to run out there, say something to the dude, like get your head out of your derriere, look at the scoreboard. The next pitch is where it needs to be. So you sort of like the combination there. He's getting his job done too. And then you mentioned it, the bullpen. I mean, now whoever John wants to go to in his high leverage guys, they're available tomorrow because of what you mentioned, right? The guys coming in and out of the pen did their job. The 2 runs in the 8th inning really helped. That kept Hoffman and Sandlin out of the game. Now John's got basically a 6-inning game tomorrow because he can go to anybody he wants to go to when it comes to matchups because he's got his 8th and 9th inning guy available tomorrow. And then Bo Bichette, right? Springer continues to do it. Bo Bichette, it doesn't take them big daddy hacks. Doesn't need to, right? I mean, he clears the lower half just enough to get the barrel in the zone, way behind his, behind his shoulders to keep it in the zone a long time. Don't take the big daddy hack. You don't need to fly the front shoulder open, trying to bridge people. You stay direct to the ball. You just put barrel to baseball. Think about the big part of the field. You're going to hit balls all over different quadrants of the strike zone. George Springer, what can you say? For me anyway, tonight, it's the first time I saw him not looking for pitch, looking for location. Before he hit the homer, he got a cutter away. Crochet been throwing all kinds of fastballs in. If I'm him, I'm not looking away after a backdoor cutter away. I'm going to look for something in. Crochet didn't get the cutter in enough. You bridge guy. That's what he's doing right now. He's in a mental mind state of mechanically I'm good. I don't have to worry about where my lower half's sit. My leg kick's on point. I have good direction with my front foot. I got great rotation. Now it's just about thinking my at-bat through to where I can maximize that one great swing that I'm going to get every time I go up there. And it's working out. Good for them. It's exactly what the doctor ordered when you're going to Boston. Have good starting pitching. Have a big inning offensively. Don't use a bunch of your main bullpen guys so you can use them the next day. It's exactly what the doctor ordered, man.
The numbers, as always, 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. The Blue Jays have taken the first 2 games of this 4-game series at Fenway Park, winning this one 6-1. Bo Bichette, a 3 RBI game. George Springer with the home run. The bottom of the order, again, writing themselves large. Miles Straw, Tyler Heineman, each scored a couple of runs. Alan Roden contributed. Let's give a shout out to the skipper, John Schneider here. Alejandro Kirk sat down for tonight's game. George Springer moved up into the cleanup spot.
Yeah.
We've talked about this, even that series in New York, Kevin. The big boys came up to the plate with men on base. Like, the lineup has worked for the most part this year. John can't go up there and swing the bat for Vladdy and Santander, but by and large, the Jays have put those 3 in position to deliver big hits. And it's only a matter, and I think we agree on this, it's only a matter of time that Vladdy and Anthony Santander are going to, before they get it going.
Well, I think Vladdy looks a little closer. I mean, I think he's getting some more barrels to baseball in different quadrants, which will tell you that timing with this positive move towards the baseball is getting a little bit closer. Santander's got a big daddy swing. Like, he's going to be out and around a lot. That's why he's rolling over those balls to first base. I think he just needs to go up, look right down the middle for a fastball. And it's normally, most of the time, when you do that, you simplify it that much, you'll be on time for everything else, and normally you won't swing at things you shouldn't be swinging at. Yeah, he might be chasing hits a little bit, right? He signed his deal. He wants to come here. He wants to do things. He hasn't been doing basically anything. I just got his second RBI, right? 11, 12 games in? Like, he really hadn't been doing a lot. So I'm sure he'll be simplifying it. I'm sure they're having tons of conversations. I'm sure him and Vladdy and Bo and Springer are all having the same conversation. So, yeah, I mean, just be happy you're 7-5 without him and Vladdy doing much.
That is.
Just think about if they do get hot with Bo and Springer stays hot, Kirky comes, and does whatever they think Kirky can do. Bottom of the lineup's being competitive, right? Whoever John's putting in the game's having a competitive at bat, no matter who's on the mound. So, yeah, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
And between the good starting pitching and the bullpen, it really, I understand it's early days, but it really smells and feels a little bit like a couple of years ago where they had that rotation, logging a lot of innings, and they had the bullpen set up nicely. Again, it is early, but initial returns, are pretty good. And hey, we haven't talked about Max Scherzer.
No.
Easton Lucas has kind of kept that situation at bay. And, you talked about his tempo today and the 17 to 20 first pitch strikes. And I heard Buck and Dan talking during the game about, guys going back to the dugout. One of those games you go back to the dugout and you just kind of shake your head. How am I 0 for 2?
It's 0 for 4, yeah.
Yeah, how am I 0 for 2 against this guy? Or how am I 0 for 4 against this guy?
Yeah.
But you still got the sense watching Easton Lucas pitch. Like, it wasn't like he was tightrope walking.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. For a guy who doesn't throw that hard, he was dominating them.
Yeah, I think it looks harder to the hitter because of how smooth and how easy and free it comes out of his hand. And you can tell it. The 94's got a little late giddy up to it because of that reason. And Heineman did a real good job of getting him to sign in a hurry, so he's not overthinking it. He just goes right back into his delivery as soon as he throws the pitch and he gets the ball back. So yeah, I mean you're working both sides of the plate, changing speeds with the two different breaking balls, and then you can on top of it add the changeup after you're throwing fastballs before or after it. I mean, again, you get him a lead where he don't have to nibble. I think that's the most important part out of that. Just going to give him enough confidence that he thinks he can pound the zone and get guys chasing. That's what strike one does. It puts good hitters on the defense. That's why everybody yells and screams about that's the most important pitch out of all of that. I used to be a hitter. I used to try and hit homers all the time. It was harder to hit one when you're behind in the count because now you have to, expand when you don't want to expand. So good job for him. Good job for Heineman. They played good enough defense. They got a hit and they had a big inning when they were supposed to. That's what you have to do on the road.
They closed out the 8th and 9th innings with double plays after the leadoff runner got on base. One on Bo's air and the other in a single. And again, we've talked about this guy, but Andres Jimenez, the game is pretty much out of reach, but that double play, the play he made on Jacob Barnes' throw, I mean, basically acting like a first baseman. It's just it really is remarkable the impact he has had in this team. Like I said this today in Blair and Barker, and he's a good ball player. I mean, that sounds so horribly cliche-ish, but it really is. He's just a good ball player.
I think he's made it easier for Varsho to miss some time.
Yeah.
You know how good of a defensive player Varsho is, running through walls and the catches he makes and how he sort of got his team fired up. Jimenez is sort of the same way, right? I was shocked when he didn't catch the top spinner. The big hop off the plate and it hit the ground and had top spin. He's trying to backhand it. I was almost
tough
shocked.
Play, though.
It is a very tough play, but he's been making all them plays so easy and routine that I was a little shocked when he didn't make it. And I think that's what it is. He's a calming force. He makes Bo better. He makes Vladdy better. It just looks like everybody's on the same page. He's thinking it ahead before it actually happens. Dude gets on second. We put the pickoff play on. It's like baseball 101, but the game's just, sort of slowing down for him. And, hopefully he stays healthy, continue to do the things offensively he's been doing because he is a great defender, and he's a lot of fun to watch.
Ryan in Innisfil, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
We are doing well, thank you.
That is what I like to hear. I got two things I want to talk about today. You kind of already brought up one of them, but the first thing is I want all the fans of Toronto to give George Springer his flowers for actually showing up to start this year. It's nice when one of the big boys just comes in and fires away right from the start, ready to play, bringing all the energy. It's awesome. It's what we needed as fans, and it's what that team needs in that clubhouse. So you know what? Kudos, George Springer. You rock, my buddy. And then second, I think we have like a lovely little disaster going on with this Easton Lucas guy. Like when Scherzer comes back, if this guy's carving like that every day, how are you going to put Scherzer back into the rotation? Like, this kid's awesome. Like, this kid is freaking awesome. Like, I don't know how they're going to go about it, or if you kind of want to use Scherzer the way you're using Lucas right now, give him like 5 innings and then throw Lucas in after type thing. Like, I don't know, but I love the way the kid pitches. He's all over the corner. He's all over the black. Doesn't overthrow. He's a good pitcher, man. Like, we found another one.
I mean, what is he? He's 28 years old. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call him a kid. I mean, he's young in terms of major league experience, but, look, if Max Scherzer is healthy, here's what you do. You go, Easton, nice job. Enjoy Buffalo. We'll keep you in mind. Max, here's the ball. Go get him. I mean, that's it's that simple. But it's never a bad thing, Ryan, and thank you for the call. It's never a bad thing when you've gone through 2 of Max Scherzer's turns in the rotation and Blair and Barker aren't saying, holy cow, I can't wait till Max gets back, or holy cow, they got to find something if this is a long-term situation. And just ride it out right now. Let's see what happens with the thumb. I don't know if Max is throwing yet. There was talk he was going to throw at Citi Field. I would just think, I mean, at this point, why would you bother with the weather being what it is in Boston instead of having him do an outdoor bullpen? Just wait till you get back in Toronto. There's no rush. Just enjoy it the way it is right now because, Kevin, you know as well as I do, the league will make adjustments to him. There's 2 games of video on Easton Lucas right now.
Yeah.
And the next time he runs into a team, they'll have more information on it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, look, I think every time I'd talk to Pete Walker, he'd mention this guy's name. And it's just another time where Pete's been right. And, the quality of stuff where he can work both sides of the plate. Ryan's right. He's changing speeds. And we were wondering at the beginning of the season, where's the quality of the depth coming from in the rotation? They don't really have any.
Fair point.
And all of a sudden, this guy's showing up and can give him some decent starts and give a lineup a chance. And you go on the road, you got nothing to lose. You pound the zone. I mean, he was thinking and knowing and hearing the same thing that we were saying today, right? That, they were pitching Barrios yesterday for a reason. They're facing Crochet. We had Jonathan Papelbon on today. What was he saying? That guy's our stopper, right? When we lose, he's coming up. Game's over. They're winning. That's win day. Well, you don't think Easton Lucas was hearing that? You could see it, right? And Dan Showman was bringing that up even on pop-ups, how fired up he was getting. So, yeah, can never have too much depth. And you need a surprise throughout the season. You want to be a good team. You want to be relevant in September. There has to be a surprise. Maybe this dude's it.
Yeah, and quite often it takes more than one surprise. I mean, let's be honest. It takes more than one surprise.
Well, maybe it's Springer and Lucas.
Yeah. Could be.
I mean, Ryan's saying something about, one of the big guys. There's a lot of people were thinking that Springer was no longer a big guy.
Oh,
that's
God,
not how they were. Yeah, they were not talking about him that way. The organization, John Snyder. I mean, John's always had his back, but they're moving him down in the lineup for a reason. I mean, they're trying to tell us without telling us. And good for Springer. Like, again, he's having really good at bats. He bought into some little minor adjustments that he's made. Gives himself a chance to actually look location. I really do think that's what he's doing. I don't think he's good enough at his age to always look certain pitch, but I think he is good enough to have educated location guesses. And tonight, for me, that's how he hit the homer, right? You taking a guess there that, okay, he threw me a backdoor cutter, he ain't gonna throw it again, so I'm gonna look in. He looked in, he got it, and he didn't miss it.
Yeah, it's, as I said, this is, it's just, people say you can't sort of turn the light switch on. Well, it seems that George has, based on what we saw in spring training. Yeah. Like anybody who said, other than John Schneider, who has to say it, there's nobody who saw this coming in spring training. Anybody who says they saw this coming in spring training is lying. They are lying if they said they saw this coming in spring training. 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. You can reach us by text. 590 is the text line. The Blue Jays beating the Boston Red Sox 6-1 at Fenway Park. Easton Lucas was awfully good. Bo Bichette had a nice night at the plate. George Springer hit a home run. The Jays have taken the first 2 games of this 4-game series against the Red Sox. This was a tough early road trip for the Blue Jays. 3 against the Mets, where they've been swept. Taken the first 2 so far against the Red Sox. You've got 2 more left. Then you go into Baltimore, and then you come home. We are going to step away and come.
Hey, baseball fans, thanks so much for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, this morning, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching. And now is the time of the show for you to let us know. Where are you watching from? Where are you cheering on the Blue Jays from in this chat, hanging out with us on TSI from all over the world? Let us know in the chat your city and province, city and state, or international. Let us know what country you're watching in. And then once you've let us know in the chat, just click that link that's pinned or is flying through there. That's going to take you to our website, TorontoSportsInsider.com, where you can show and see where everyone else in the world is watching from with our cool, awesome map feature. We'll see you back in the chat. Let's go, Blue Jays! What's up, Leafs fans? How we doing? The Leafs are in sunny Florida, in Sunrise, Florida to be exact, to take on the Florida Panthers. We just beat them last week. Let's do it again tonight while you're here. And we're celebrating the Bracket Mania campaign conclusion. Please hit that like button down below and share this link out.
The more we grow, the bigger our impact. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So like, subscribe, and share, because every click impacts SickKids' mission to heal the future.
Let's get more Leafs fans here in the chat. Do we have more than 649 here in the chat tonight? I think we do. Go Leafs, go! We'll see you back in the chat. Hey, you!
Yeah, you!
I'm talking to you! Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Leafs game. We're celebrating the Bracket Mania campaign and its conclusion last night with a win by the Florida Gators. But that's not why we're here. We're here for hockey. Leafs fans, if you're here and you're hanging out with us and you're new, please take a second to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss it when we go live for every single game of the Toronto Maple Leaf season. We do all 5 of the Toronto sports teams here. The Blue Jays are live right now as well.
We're on a mission to hit 100,000 insiders, and you can help us grow this amazing community of sports fans making a difference.
Thanks for hitting that subscribe button. Thanks for turning on that bell, and we'll see you back in the chat. Go Leafs, go! What's up, insiders? Happy Tuesday night. Thank you for hanging out with us. It's the Leafs and the Panthers. Tonight from Sunrise, Florida. As you see behind me, the cats are going wild. We're having a good time in the chat, and we need to cheer our buds on to another victory to make sure that they wrap up first place in the Atlantic Division with the Lightning only 2 points behind, but we still have that game in hand. Anyways, tonight we are here to celebrate and conclude the SickKids Hospital Bracket Mania campaign. What a campaign it was. What an amazing time we had in the chat throughout all of those college basketball games and thousands of people all over the world.
Thanks for joining us for the SickKids Bracket Mania campaign on TSI, making a real difference in our Toronto community. From Toronto to Tokyo, Sudbury to Singapore, TSI is everywhere.
Now let's have some fun in the chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Go Leafs, go. Let's get the victory tonight, boys. Let's get 100 points on the season. Insiders, Leafs fans, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight as our buds travel to Florida to take on the Florida Panthers in an Atlantic Division clash. And what a run we have just completed. The Bracket Mania campaign is now concluded.
A portion of the proceeds from every single game goes directly to SickKids. Click the pinned link in the chat or the description to donate. Every bit helps. Can't donate? No problem. Just share the campaign with your friends or on social media to make a huge impact. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Click the link and holy Mackinac, let's help heal the future.
Tonight is the last night to get your donations in, so please check the link that's pinned in the chat and donate if you are able. Every little bit helps. We are over $3,000 donated just from the Bracket Mania campaign. And of course, that next donation will start off our next campaign, the Playoff Pulse, where we're going to be live for every single game of the NHL playoffs. And our Toronto Maple Leafs, that run, we're going to do it again. 100% of the revenue from the Toronto Maple Leafs games, TSI, this community, we're donating every single interaction, every single super chat, every single super thanks, every single membership is going to be donated in full to SickKids Hospital as part of our Playoff Pulse campaign. The tournament is here. March Madness is here. The craziness is here. Don't forget, hit that like button down below and share this link out so we can get more basketball fans here in the chat, hanging out with us, cheering on your favorite team.
Clayton steals it and lays it in. Clayton a good look. Hit 6.
Check out our new website, www.torontosportsinsider.com, and check out the link that is in the description as well as in the chat that shows where all of the live viewers are watching from. Are you an insider yet? Have you hit that subscribe button? I bet you have now. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for checking out our Bracket Mania campaign. A lot more coming up soon.
Comer. They're going to compete. Gators just haven't been able to do so. Bernard Thompson with a 3.
This is over. What a great scene this is.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thanks for chatting it up and enjoying this March Madness live hangout with us.
Maybe we're the only one thinks that. Like, they keep continuously running him out there. I mean, John's moving him up in the order against a good lefty because he thinks he'll have a competitive at bat. So, yeah, I'm with you, Miles Straw. We've been tooting that horn since since Dalton Varsho went down and can't play center field because of the way he plays defense and who you would have to put in left field occasionally, which looks like they've sort of worked that out right. You don't want to put Roden in center. Just doesn't make any sense. So you put him in left because he's more comfortable there. Like, that makes perfect sense. Santander you can put in left. Like, I think they've sort of got a nice little rhythm to how John wants to sort of maneuver everybody around, and you're getting the best out of them. I mean, you're not asking too much for Miles Straw.